Hello guys. We're back for episode 8 of the Infrared podcast. Tonight I've got Ewan, Ewan and Ricky, and I've also got Mitch. Damo's not here tonight. He's off doing other shit. So, So tonight we're going to be talking about Lab 6. We're going to talk about SAE. We're going to be talking about production. We're going to be talking about Ewan's website and sample packs and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's actually on one of the samples.
Oh yeah, even better. Yeah,
collaborative samples.
All right, so let's get this going. So what got you guys into music? Like what got you into the whole thing of music and stuff?
Oh, well, when I was younger, I always had a love for music. Music's always been played in the house around the family and stuff.
Yeah.
Dad was into the old school stuff, Elvis, Michael Jackson, all that kind of stuff, all the old school classics.
Yeah, very nice.
And Dad's been a guitarist his whole life. So growing up, I always kind of wanted to pick it up, have a strum, but I was never good enough for it. So got into drumming because my dad also had a band as well. So I used to sit by, take notes, try and replay what I was hearing. But yeah, after that, I kind of just got more into production, wanted to focus more on actually producing rather than just playing some beats and stuff.
And it's so easy these days.
Yeah.
So you just get a laptop.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Get sample packs,
exactly.
and get this and that, and you just away
Yeah.
you go, kind of.
Yeah.
Instead of back in the day, you have a band, you have to have a drummer, you have to have a keyboardist, a guitarist, a singer,
Yeah.
and you all have to work together, kind of. But now
Yeah,
you can just
sure.
open your laptop and go for gold.
Exactly. So with that said, once I did get my hands on that stuff, it was a huge upgrade for me. I was able to. Believe it or not, I started on Sony Acid. Not sure if you guys know what that is.
I've heard of Vegas, but I've never heard of
Sony Acid. It's
Is that before Vegas?
Oh yeah, it's you ever heard of a producer called Roscoe?
Yeah,
dubstep guy.
Yeah,
he's got
he started on Sony Vegas, not Sony Acid.
Yeah, he's got that tutorial that he's got online.
Yeah,
he's
he's
make a girlfriend and
yeah. So watching that kind of stuff, because I used to listen to a lot of Roscoe as well. I was like, this is cool.
Back in the day, Woo Boost, such a good song.
Woo Boost, Bass Boost.
yeah.
So all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it was very inspirational to me. So after getting my hands on the right equipment, I was like, I want to go for this. It's
put the time and effort in and see what happens. Kind of.
Yeah.
What about you, Ewan?
Yeah. Well, my dad was a DJ.
Hey, pull the mic closer to you.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's not working.
It's not working.
Yeah, you two need to share mics.
Okay.
For the time being,
Yeah, that's fine.
while I fix it.
Yeah. So my dad was a DJ. So I always grew up around
Wait, just quickly. Sorry, guys, as well. We've just had a little bit of technical issues. That's why we started 10 minutes late. But we should be all good. So keep going.
Yeah. So my dad was DJ. So I was always I grew up in that sort of electronic.
Like vinyl DJ?
Yeah,
or?
vinyl DJ.
No shit.
Yeah. He actually DJs in Bunbury at the moment, for the radio station there.
Really?
Down south. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
He did a show last night, which I missed on called the White Labels. I don't know if you guys know what that is.
No, never heard of
Something
it.
about Stolen House Records that were.
Oh, I think I've heard of Stolen House Records.
Yeah,
I
no.
think that that's a record label and stuff, I'm pretty sure.
No, I think.
Just give me a sec.
Yep. What, so
I'm trying to figure it out as I go.
it's all good.
My genital here. You plug in that XLR.
Yeah, you get it in there, jam it in. Oh, yeah.
Alright, try now.
All right.
This one here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good? Oh,
Yeah, all right, we're good.
Nice.
Yes.
We're good, guys. All right, so what? Stolen House Records.
Yeah, no, yeah. He was mixing them last night, but I missed that show. But I always wanted to learn music because when I was living with my stepdad, he used to teach music at the house, so it was a good environment for me to learn guitar and drums. And then I stopped having an interest in music, and then a friend of mine. I was into Skrillex and all that sort of stuff, like dubstep, but he sort of opened my eyes to the idea of electronic music, being more than just sounds. There was an actual science behind it, and it just grew into this obsession, and now I make music. Yeah.
Yeah. So then you guys went and did SAE and Lab 6 and stuff,
Yeah,
and
I did Lab 6 before I went to SAE.
yeah. And then
I just went straight into SAE.
straight into SAE. Well,
yeah.
let's start off with Lab 6. So when you start off with Lab 6, you went in there just blindfolded kind of thing? Or?
I used FL Studio for a bit. I didn't have internet or anything like that, so it was pretty much just figuring out the program, not knowing what the fuck this EQ was, but
yeah.
sort of figuring out. I was okay, yeah, that's cutting away a frequency. If I bring that down, notch that down, and then I met our mutual friend Jordan.
Yeah.
And he introduced me to Ableton, and he was like, yeah, I went to SAE, rah rah, and I was like, oh, I know a few people that went to SAE. They got pretty good. I was like, oh well, then I saw the Ableton course at Lab 6. I was like, well, I might get a new laptop, learn Ableton, and then head to SAE. So I went to Lab 6 purely to learn the interface of Ableton, and it was really good.
Yeah, no, that sounds right. And then it's after you did that. So what was it, like 2-year course, 3-year course, or
At Lab 6. Oh no, it was like 13-week. Like, it was
13
just like
weeks.
one term. Yeah, like I
real?
went there every Thursday night. They had the free Red Bull because they were sponsored by Red Bull. So it was dangerous, man. Like at 8:30 at night, I have
That's
like
how they
2
rope
cans
you
of
in.
Red Bull, yeah. I was like living with my girlfriend at the time as well, and I'd just be up to like 3 a.m. like on Ableton.
so you
like
could actually stick around the Lab 6, like
No. Like I'd go home after Lab 6.
I
And
was
like,
about to say you stick
yeah.
around there until 3 a.m. No, I'll be out later. Don't worry about that. I got to finish this project. Let me finish with the computer, all right?
Lab 6 was awesome. It was also because it was something I actually wanted to do. Like at high school, I never really wanted to do anything. I just like mucked around a lot.
No, I did the exact same thing.
Oh yeah, because once I figured out that like, hey, I'm a juvenile, I can pretty much get away with whatever I want. I'm just muck around
just
here.
slap on the wrist.
Yeah, really. Yeah, and then Lab 6 was like the first thing that I like sort of dedicated my time to and like sort of like managed my time like around work and stuff like that, like going to Lab 6. And then the next step was just SAE because I was like, I want to do this.
Did someone tell you to go into SAE? Or
yeah, it was the amateur friend Jordan.
Oh, so it was that Jordan guy then?
No, he was the one that inspired me. He was just like, bro, like, why aren't you doing it? I was like, I don't know, fucking never going to be good enough. He's like, well, you only live once, man. You should try it anyway.
Well, that's exactly it, though. It's like, how do you know unless you try it?
Exactly, and I'm thankful that I met him. Oh my god, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Well, dude, it's the exact same thing with my DJing. Like when I started out, I just bought like a little $100 controller. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool, and then did research and like stuff. I'm gonna go and buy the flagship of Native Instruments, and then just learn that. Yeah. And then from there, just like, this is great. I'm gonna keep doing it and building on my collection, going from there and there and then. Now I'm where I am now, kind of thing. Like. But it takes time.
Yeah, you said that you've played at like 200 venues or something.
Yeah,
like
something like it's about like
that's
that.
wild, man. That's crazy.
But I've been doing it.
Venues, though.
I've been doing it for like 10 years. So
yeah, wow.
That's the thing, man. Like, you tell someone, like me, for example, I haven't met you till today. And you have to tell me that you did that many shows. It's like, in how long? About 10 years, man. It's like overnight success type shit.
It's only like 4 years professionally though as well. Like it used to be just house parties and stuff.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, Hammy.
G'day, guys.
Professor Gobbo.
Cheers, Professor Gobbo, for joining
Professor
in.
Gobbo.
My boy.
And Tammy.
That's your mate?
My mate, my girlfriend.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
Getting that support in.
Yeah, that's it. Go get that support. So then, with Ricky, then what about you? So with SAE, what got you into SAE? What made you want to get into it?
So like I said before, when I went with Sony Acid, the early days of my production, I was kind of just messing with samples and shit like that. And then as it progressed, I actually got into FL Studio. And FL Studio was kind of, I thought that was crazy to me, mind-blowing, compared from Sony Acid to FL Studio.
Yeah.
Acid was very
because
limited.
it's a program from the 90s, isn't it?
It's extremely old. I don't even at the stage I was in, I feel I couldn't really use its potential because I had no clue what I was doing.
Yeah,
I tried to look up tutorials for like dubstep and shit, and there's like nothing out there.
Old,
All the tutorials for dubstep back when I was wanting to get into it was FL Studio, Ableton, all that shit, like Logic Pro, all that shit. I was like, I need to get my hands on one of these. Yeah. So I, got FL Studio.
And so that's exactly like what I said before. I started off on just little tiny thing, and I'm like, fuck, I need to actually upgrade. Need to actually get into the actual industry kind of thing. So and it just, it takes time. But once you get into it, once you get it, and you start learning it, then you can really get into it.
Yeah, well, like I got FL Studio, just started messing around, like you said, just kind of messing with everything, see what things do. Like, I didn't know the technical stuff, like, side chaining and like, cutting frequencies, like what you're supposed to have. I was just cutting stuff for the hell of it. Like, this kind of sounds, it's alright. It's like, it's not like destroying my ears through the headphones.
Thinking reverb was like the coolest thing.
Oh yeah, I put reverb on everything. Reverb and multi-band compression. I was like, if it's not loud, like you fail. Like, so after messing around with FL, I messed around with that for about 3 or 4 years. So it was like from around 2014, 2015 to like 2017, 2018 a little. And then around the end of like 2017, like a few of my mates were talking about going to SAE and stuff. And I went to one of their open days. And on one of the open days, I met a few people there as well. And they all seemed pretty interested. And I was like, it's a nice environment. It seems pretty cool. Because like you said, man, like growing up, I've been a student for most of my life. So like studying random stuff and just doing all this stuff. And like, it's not interesting. Like... comparing it to music's like
something
you
want to do.
Music has been my life for a long time, and it's like to be able to study that and go into like a discipline of music, like that was cool to me. The idea really appealed to me, so I thought that getting myself into that position would be extremely good. So, because once I got accepted into SE, like I thought this is it, like life's going to change. And so when I went there, like I met heaps of cool people, like met you through SE. But
well, yeah, it's just like what we were talking about before. You guys have never actually met each other.
Yeah,
but
first time.
you guys
First
know each
time
other
meeting each other.
online.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
through our mutual like friend as well, Jordan. Like,
And so that's like through a producer group you guys were saying or something.
No,
Yeah, isn't it?
like we made the producer group like only just recently actually.
yeah,
real?
about a month
Yeah.
ago or something. It's like
Yeah.
me, Jordan, you, and another guy.
Julian.
Oh, real?
Yeah,
Oh,
Julian.
so it's only 4 of you guys.
Yeah, it's
then?
just
Yeah.
us four.
Okay, that's,
So we
that's
just send
pretty
each
cool
other-
though. Like,
Yeah, it's pretty low key. Like
Yeah.
we just send each other ideas, like little videos in the chat, and like
But see, that's what's so good about the music industry, though. It's like a community.
Yeah.
It can be like a small
Yeah.
little community
It's
where
good.
everyone gets along with each other
Exactly.
and you just share ideas backwards and forwards. How you did this, how you did that.
Yeah.
And then obviously, like we've talked about in the past in the other podcasts, where it's like there's also the arrogant people as well, and they get
Yeah.
the ego and this and that.
I mean,
it
like,
shouldn't be like that.
I did try to start like a Facebook sort of music networking group, and then like the idea was if you needed like a vocalist or a bass guitarist or like a producer, like you go to this group and you'd find someone, and like I had a good amount of members, but like the thing is I let too many people be an admin, and then they all had different ideas of what they wanted to do.
Yeah,
in the
it's all
groups.
conflicting.
And I was like, oh
everything.
fuck this, man! Like you guys can handle it. I don't
Yeah.
really care anymore.
So you just took a step back and like
Yeah, it's like your group, not mine anymore. It was a cool idea though for like the
Did it
first
take off though. And you
Yeah, for the
sit-
first week it was really cool, man. I had like people from the group I never met messaging me. It's like, hey man, like I'm a vocalist, I'd be really keen to work with you. And I was like, oh sick, cool. Like if I need vocals, I got someone now.
can never find a vocalist when you need one. And then
Yeah.
when you don't need one, they're like, hey, can you produce for me and shit? You're like,
Yeah. Like the idea was just like sort of like bring this like sense of community and just like make networking easy, especially like you've
that's
like,
what I feel like. Perth is such an isolated place for musicians. Like,
Well, see, that's the whole thing with this podcast. The reason why I started it is because, like, we're the most isolated city in the world, other than,
yeah.
like, Dubai and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And so with that, it's like we miss out on so many good acts and good artists
oh,
that come
yeah.
here.
it's bullshit.
So
Yeah.
many. But the thing is with that, it's like we're so isolated that we can start our own community. Like the whole Rhythms thing. Like
Yeah.
Rhythm basically started in Perth to an extent, I would say.
Yeah,
Drum-
you reckon?
I
Yeah.
reckon it had its
I don't know
early
much
stages.
about Rhythm, so yeah. But I know it's pretty big in Perth. Like
Yeah.
Rhythm's huge.
I
Yeah.
reckon it actually had its beginning roots in Perth, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Like from what I can tell, like maybe like a year or two ago, like from what I was seeing on social media, like Perth was like one of the go-to places.
Yeah,
for
well,
rhythm.
it's artists like Wiggum and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And what's his name?
Flick.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Flick, and then Axon as well, Jackson
Axon
Axon Brown.
Accent. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like
Droid bass, yeah.
Droid bass.
Yeah.
But like they create their own kind of genre and their own style, and they actually like really push it. And now like Excision's playing their tracks out and about and
Yeah.
stuff like
it's
that,
crazy,
download
yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah,
Like,
and you can also see that they're sort of doing the right thing. Like they've found their sound, and like what I think they're doing right is the fact that they're all reposting each other's stuff. And
Yeah.
they've like found this distinct sound that they're just like sort of pushing out.
and that's the thing as well. Like, as Perth producers, they're all kind of got each other's back. Like, as you were saying, like egos and shit. Once that gets in the way, like,
It
if
just
these
causes
guys,
problems. Yeah.
like you said, these guys are getting their shit played out by Excision and the likes. You know, people of that stature. If you can get a group of producers, like all Perth based as well, to all be reposting each other's stuff, like that's just infinite amount of like plays. Like fans can see each other's stuff. Like,
Exactly.
it's
yeah.
just exposure for each other. You know.
That's exactly it, and that's what it's really really good, but it's also really really bad at the same time because it's like with having so much exposure, you're in the pit with everybody else, so you really got to shine amongst all
Exactly.
the shit.
Especially with
Yeah,
current state of like rhythm and stuff, for example. Like,
you'll just everything.
it's hard to stand out in the way that it sounds nowadays.
Yeah,
So you gotta be really unique.
well, exactly. Like with Jackson, it's like he has droid bass,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
no one else really makes anything close to him in a way, or they try to, but it's not his distinguished sound kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's where it really comes down to. It's like you just have to shine amongst everybody else. You can't just be like Shaq. You used to be a basketball player, now you play at Tomorrowland.
Yeah, yeah.
It shouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
And so we've talked about in the past as well, like Paris Hilton. She goes
yeah.
and plays in Ibiza, but since she's the daughter of the Hilton hotels and she's Paris and blah blah blah,
Yep.
she gets paid like $80,000 to do one set, and she just presses play and shoots foam into the crowd.
Yeah, it's wild. It's
What?
wild.
I didn't even know
Yeah,
that.
it's a joke. Like she legit got paid like $80,000 just to shoot foam into the crowd and press play.
Dude, I'd love to
Didn't
do
even-
that.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Who wouldn't? Like, that's the way to be. Like, exactly, just cashing in.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But that's where it's like talent versus entertainment though.
Oh yeah, dude. Like I feel like a good example of that would be Big Shaq.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
2 + 2 is 4. Like that. That's
Oh yeah.
That is all like a giant like
It's
entertainment.
kind of like a meme in a way.
Yeah, but like he marketed it that right, and
Yeah.
he got big.
It's like
That's
that,
exactly
that
it.
Old Town Road song. You know,
Yeah.
that to me, that's like
But see, the whole thing with that is actually because back in the day, I think it was up until 2007, I think it was, country music was the biggest export out of America.
Yep.
It was always country and blues, and then hip hop took over. So that's where that was I think it was basically like an industry plant in a way, because it's actually, you know, it's Old Town Road, it's hip hop, but it's country.
Yeah.
So that can
Yep.
appeal to all of, you know, America, including the kids.
And it did.
And then it gets played in primary schools and stuff. Like, did
Yeah.
you guys ever see the video where he went to like a big ass school and sung it in front of all these kids and stuff?
No, I've never seen that.
Yeah, well, dude, like, it's like little toddlers and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And all singing Old Town Road.
Yeah,
and it's
that's
like,
crazy.
oh, damn it, what's happening to the music industry?
Yeah, it's transformations, man.
Yeah, 100%. So let's go back to Lab 6 and SAE and stuff like that. So it went for, so it was one semester for Lab 6.
Yeah, it was like just like a school semester, school term. Yeah.
How long did SAE go for you guys?
I did my diploma last year. Did a diploma in electronic music production.
So it's just 1 year, or?
Yeah, I went for 7 months.
Yeah.
So that's like the first, I think the first degree you can get there. I'm
Yeah.
not too sure if there's anything before
Yeah.
that. But then after that, it's like bachelors and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what about you?
I went straight into my bachelor's, so I'm like halfway through it at the moment. Yeah.
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 So then
finishing my
with that,
first year.
like, have you guys got a direction where you want to go after that? Because I mean, you've got it now, don't you?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
And then where would you want to be, kind of thing, like with that qualification and stuff like that? Like how?
Well, like I'd be happy as soon as I graduate, just be working in industry. Like,
Yeah.
But like the ultimate goal is, like I was telling you before, is to be able to play shows and teach people.
Yeah.
Like that would
That's
be
a really good trait though, because if you can teach people and you actually like be a teacher,
yeah.
you know, people. It's like what you were saying as well, like just before, like where it's like you can have. People can be your inspiration in a way. It's
Yeah.
like, because you guys were saying how you have that you had that lecturer and he's actually like hard on you guys
yeah.
and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
and he's amazing.
But
yeah.
that's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's amazing, because that's what you want. You want someone that challenges you, not someone that's like, yeah, you're doing all right, don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
like
Yeah.
constructive feedback is crucial to musicians, especially
Yeah.
producers. Like,
Oh, dude, the amount of times I've like sent my track to someone and they're just like, "Yeah, it sounds dope, man." I'm like, "Yeah, but like, really? Come on."
pick it apart, surgically pick it apart.
Yeah, like tell me what's wrong with it. Like,
Michael Colvin, Perth. There is something in the water.
that's my dad. Hi, Dad. They
Yeah.
say of the music scene in. Yeah. Hi, Dad.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I agree. And that like the biggest thing about Perth, right? Since we're just quickly, one of the biggest things is since we're so isolated, right? We've got so much potential for growth. Because if you're in the industry now, imagine what it's going to be like in 10 years.
Oh, exactly.
If
like,
I was to give up DJing in Perth and go to Melbourne, then I'd be amongst everybody else. So I don't know people in Melbourne. But, you know, if I'm in America as well, the same thing. Everyone wants to be a DJ in America.
yeah.
And the producing side as well. It's like you got to shine amongst everybody else, but you have to build your network and you have to socialize and actually get where you want to be, kind of
Yeah,
thing. Like,
exactly.
you have to think outside of the box and be like, this is my goal. How do I get there?
And that's another thing I struggled with as well, because like from like 2013 to like 2016, 17 sort of, I grew up in Mandurah. So it's completely, like, it's so isolated down there.
Yeah.
It's like an hour from Perth. Like,
Yeah.
and when I moved there, I didn't have family or friends down there. So like networking was one of the biggest struggles for me as a producer. I literally had like maybe 1 or 2 people I knew. I met that Jordan guy down in Mandurah. So like, you know, having at least 1 or 2 connections is good enough. But like when you want to branch outside of the work that you do with them, it's like, it's hard.
Yeah.
So being able to go to SAE and meeting all these people, I met like, you know, rappers, like hip hop producers, like, you know, DJs and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
really opens your mind.
Well, exactly, yeah, 100%. And that's what you need to do. It's like you can't, I don't know how some people do it. It's like, I'm going to be a techno DJ, only hang out with techno people. Kind of
Nah,
thing.
bro, I'd
And
get
it's
so
like-
bored.
No,
Yeah.
no.
And you
Yeah.
have to be everything. Like
Yeah.
you have to look into everything and find what you really do like.
Yeah,
kind of.
exactly.
Well, like I find that like a lot of the producers I look up to, they don't really seem to like. They don't really seemed to have limited themselves to like one genre,
Yeah.
like one type of sound. They seem to explore and like.
Well,
delve
see, that's
into
the way it
different
should be,
types of
though.
sound,
But so many record labels, though, say it's like, you know, you have to make this and it has to be like
I mean,
this.
but that's the brand of the record
Exactly,
label. Like
yeah.
Disciple, that's straight up like dubstep, like rhythm,
Dubstep.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah,
big
no,
drum and bass
100%.
and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Heavy bass, yeah.
Yeah.
You can't, last time I saw Jackson, he was actually saying how he's signed on Circus Records, right?
Yeah.
But they were trying to change their style in a way, not try and change their label or anything like that, but it's like from memory, instead of just being all dubstep, they were looking at for more like lower BPM dubstep, I think,
like mid-tempo sort of stuff.
Yeah, like mid-tempo,
yeah.
kind of like more chill kind of things, because that's what they were trying to actually push out at that period of time during that year, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you know, if the label says that, if they say jump, you kind of have to say how high.
Yeah. I mean,
because they're your label.
Yeah, but like you can trust a label like Circus Records. I feel like you can. If Circus Records were to turn around and say, "Yo, start making mid-tempo because that's fresh at the moment," like, yeah, just start making mid-tempo.
That's exactly it. Yeah, because they're at the top of the game.
Yeah,
Basically.
exactly. Imagine being able to tell like your circle of producers, like, yeah, so I got a mid-tempo track coming out on Circus. They'd be like, what the fuck?
Exactly. Like, what the fuck?
Like,
it's Circus Records.
how'd you get this signed on them? It's like they told me to do it.
It was like when the the guy that I was talking about at uni, where he was just like, "Oh yeah, I've got like an EP coming out on Liquidity." I was like, what the hell? What?
How?
Like what? How? Like he's like telling me he knows like he's met like COVID and stuff like that. And he's
Really?
like, yeah, like huge producers like have helped him with like some of these tracks. I've like heard some of them, and I'm just like,
yeah.
Like when? How did you even like?
Well, see, the same thing
come
with
across
Advance.
these people?
Like, have you guys heard of Advance?
Yeah, Advance.
Before?
Yeah.
And then like UZ or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like he's basically like worked on heaps and heaps of tracks with the dude. But the way that happened is he came and played in Perth. Advance supported him, and they became like mates after.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
as soon as they became mates, it's like, all right, I'll send you a track, and then we'll send it back to forwards, and then
Oh shit, we got a track together.
yeah, you got fucking UZ who plays all around the world. You know, he's a huge name, and then he's like, fuck yeah, he's like giving you a foot in the door into the bigger industry kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
But that's how it is sometimes, because like you just gotta. It's all about, as I said, socializing.
Exactly.
Because like overpopulation's a big thing in this world now.
Oh yeah.
And it is a huge thing. And it's like what we said before, like you go to Melbourne, you just fall in amongst everybody else. But you really do have, like, keep reiterating on it. But you gotta shine amongst everything.
Yeah, like that's like another way to look at it is like you could have like the best production, like really good production, but if your networking sucks, it's not going to take you anywhere.
That's exactly it.
Like an artist I can think of, breakbeat artist called Pray for Bass. You've probably never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
I need to show you Pray for Bass. He's amazing. Like really underappreciated, like wicked production, but like he just stopped making music because he just sucked at networking. Yeah. It's kind of sad to watch, to be honest.
But that's what happens sometimes, and that's the thing as well. It's where sometimes people just get a girlfriend, they get a family, and then like they can't go out on tour and stuff like that. They get the opportunity to go and do stuff like that, but they can't actually go.
Well, it's a 9 to 5 job, man. It's actually crazy to watch. Like when Friction came to Perth, like just. Like, yeah, and then seeing him in Sydney, like, the next morning, I'm just like, what? How do you even have time to, like do all
running
that?
on, like, 2 hours of sleep with that schedule.
Yeah.
Sleeping at airports
crazy.
and shit.
And then having to work on tracks as well, so you can, like, keep
exactly,
up that momentum while you're on tour. It's just nutty to watch.
It's a very full-on lifestyle.
Yeah.
And it does take its toll.
Well, they must love it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. You love it to a certain extent, I reckon.
Yeah.
But then it's like once you get... It's not, like, to the top, or, like, when you get to a level that you're kind of comfortable at, and then you try and, like, I reckon you try and learn more, and you try and get more gigs, or you try and do this or try and do that. That's when it's like, it does take its toll, because you just want more, but you can't get more sometimes.
That's where I want to be. I want to be, like, sitting comfortably where I'm good with my production, and I can make enough money, like, to live comfortably and teach people. That is it. I don't want, like, to make millions or something. That'd be sick, but
that's exactly it, though. It's like, it would be great. Like, how good would it be, like, owning a mansion in Miami?
Yeah, right? Have, like, 3 Lamborghinis.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even drive.
But then being under such stress and deadlines and having to keep up with
it's crazy. Like, it's
and that's the thing as well. Like, these people that are highly successful with music in the millions, like 6 or 7 figures with their music and shit. It's like, even these massive houses they get, they're not even in them most of the time because they're touring.
Like, exactly.
Touring takes over their life, man. Like,
yeah.
It's crazy.
And that's the only way to make money.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because
especially now with like
pirating
music, Spotify, even like all these online and like platforms,
crazy
taking away music sales.
Yeah. So. Well, since we're talking about that, I think we've pulled it up in the past. Can you pull up the monetization of like Spotify and SoundCloud by any chance? So it's like, you know, is that every 1,000 plays you make like 13 cents or something?
Yeah, no, it's I was actually doing a research assignment on Spotify. Don't quote me on this because I don't remember the assignment well, but like this one chick that got... It's like the way that they share their plays, they like kind of share the plays to the artists and they'll only get like a certain quota of like money. And this chick got millions and millions of streams and she only got 13 grand for like the year. And it was just like, what the hell,
It's got to fit their demo. It's got to fit like their demographic, their style. It's got to fit what they want, basically.
Yeah, well, like these other artists that like would be having more streams, would be getting like their share of like their views. I don't know. It was really weird. It was interesting to look into, and I'm just like, fuck Spotify. Like, what the hell, man?
Yeah, but you have to though. Basically, you do have to sell your soul to like SoundCloud and Spotify. And
oh
all these
yeah,
different
yeah. I
things.
mean, it's the best way to listen to music now. Like,
exactly. And how else do you get your name out there in a way?
Yeah.
Because, you know, you can go and do all this footwork, but at the end of the day, are they going to listen to your music?
I mean, yeah, it kind of sucks that I like wasn't born in the 90s and doing this in the 90s, man, because I hear stories of like how Tipper started, and it was just like he'd like start raves with the Prodigy or something in car parks, you know, and then like that would be his way of making money. And now he's huge because like it was just word of mouth, and like he doesn't have to worry about SoundCloud, Spotify plays, because everyone wants to see Tipper.
Exactly, yeah.
Like he instantly sells out shows.
Yeah. Can't find it. No.
Bummer.
Google's not helping me.
Okay. Google is not helping Mitch today. So talking about SA and Lab 6, and like, did you guys reckon you learnt quite a bit from there and stuff like that? Like,
Yeah, well,
what was the biggest thing you learnt from there?
I think like networking was a huge thing I took away from that, because they've got like networking modules when you're studying there and stuff to like.
Did you do any transmedia like projects in the diploma?
Sounds pretty familiar.
Yeah, like you like worked with other disciplines and stuff like that.
Yeah. Worked with like graphic design students and fucking film students and stuff.
Yeah,
That's
sick.
pretty cool.
So
Yeah, like basically like the way that how the bachelor's been played out is like the first 2 trimesters, what they've done is they've taught me all the technical skills I need, and then like this trimester and the following trimesters after, it's kind of like you're out in the field. Like this is your building. This is your building of workers. You have to like find an animator for this project, or you have to work on this animator's project, and then you got to pitch your projects to your boss, which is the lecturer. It's like kind of interesting because it's kind of like almost like I'm working already. I'm like getting that experience
actually in the industry kind of thing.
Yeah,
because that's like what we were talking about before, where it's like you had to make a song to fit the animator's animation or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that sounds sick. It's like having like actually swapping it up when the animation's changing and doing this and doing that. But it's like
your vape smells really good, by the way.
it just sounds hard though to do as well, because it's like, with the animation, was it swapping like every 8 beats kind of thing, or like was it out of time as well?
Yeah, it was just hard because like
did everyone get a different animation as well?
No, well we got the one animation, and we had to present 2 different types of songs to go over the same animation, presenting different moods, and like we had to explain why we use this certain key to explain this certain mood, like yada yada. Yeah. You know, like, and then it was just it was interesting because like what I tried to do at first is I tried like having drum beats like come in when like lasers would shoot down and hit the ground, but I was like, nah, screw it, I'll just put like a drum and bass break over it, and it just sort of fit like fast paced stuff. Yeah.
Well, what would you guys say is your favorite genre to produce and stuff? Well, how long have you guys actually been producing for?
I'd say on and off, like in the early years, maybe I'd got 2-3 years experience starting out with like Sony Acid, FL Studio and stuff. But I feel once I got onto Ableton, like, because I learnt FL, like the ins and outs of it, and I was like, yeah, I feel pretty confident with this now. You know, I was making a lot, because I actually had a duo when I first started making music.
Oh, real?
Yeah, like me and one of my friends, he was in the stream before. It's Professor Gobbo.
Oh, okay. Shout out to Professor Gobbo as well.
Yeah, well, his music's name's Travails. So, me and him like had a duo. It was called Everglade. And we used to focus on like a bit of hardcore dubstep, a bit of like chill house stuff, because like his background with music, he makes a lot of like real chill, like, you know, the slower kind of stuff.
Yeah, like chill step and everything.
Yeah, chill step stuff. So like combining my heaviness with his stuff, like that's what we focused on at the start. So got a few years of experience building it up like that. But then when I got my hands on Ableton, because of my prior experience, I felt when I jumped into Ableton, I was just going backwards. I was like, I don't know anything now.
I'm so new. What the hell?
I'm picking up a new project. Like I know software. And it's
how good's the workflow in Ableton though?
Oh, it's so good. Having so automations good, in front of you, it's like mind blowing, dude.
Even just like the shortcuts, man. I remember getting obsessed with shortcuts for like a solid week, man. Just like
when I first got Ableton, I printed out like the shortcuts and I had them like in a little like plastic sleeve on the side of my desk.
It was the first thing they gave us at Lab 6. It's like, just learn these. And I was like, sick.
And that's something I learned at SE as well. SE was saying like in the introductory like week, like make sure you learn the shortcuts.
Well, yeah, 100%. Like, because even with using shortcuts in FL Studio, it just cuts your time in half.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
shortcuts, man. Like
so quick.
Exactly.
Like,
and then you know what you're doing, and you just go, Alt Q, Alt B.
Yeah, exactly.
Do
like,
that, do what you want.
Command C, like copy paste, like
bloody Max.
Yeah. Well, it's so like in the long run, like the time that you spend like navigating your mouse around, like your cursor around the software
Could've
to
saved,
right
like,
click.
5 seconds. Or
Yeah,
something
you could have
like
already
that,
done
yeah.
it, and then in the long run, that's more music, mate.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you
It's
look
like,
at it like
how I
that.
actually sort of like discovered Mr. Bill as a lecturer. Like the first like masterclass that I saw of his, it was like
So who is Mr. Bill?
Mr.
again?
Bill is an Ableton instructor.
Can we
and-
pull
and
that
a-
up if that's all right?
Oh, yo, pull it up, man.
Yeah, I've never
he's
heard of him.
His music's amazing, my friend.
Has he got heaps of videos up and everything like
Yeah,
that? as well?
and like his catalog is ridiculous. He's got like over 100 tunes.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, Mr. Bill, yeah. There you go. Yeah, that's his website. So you can pay, and you get like, so you can pay month to month, and you just have access to everything, like all the tracks he's ever made. There's live streams of it, like
So what?
But
Like,
see, that's the way to do it, though, having a monthly subscription, though.
yeah,
'Cause
no,
then that
that's
way
his primary way of making money.
Exactly.
Yeah, like you can download his project files, like he's got sample packs,
so
and
that's awesome.
yeah, and there's
That's a
a
good
thing that he
platform,
does called the Art of Mr. Bill. It's like so he's got season 1 where he goes through a track using only Ableton devices. He makes a track and you make it with him, and then you've got a full track, you know. And
oh man, that's sick.
I'm
I didn't
surprised
even know
you
about
don't know this, bro.
No,
And so,
I don't.
yeah, and he does podcasts as well by the looks of it.
He does, yeah, Mr. Bill podcast. I've been listening to them every Tuesday on the way to uni.
Nice,
Real good.
nice.
Really? And so,
Yeah.
what are his podcasts?
Oh, he just interviews people that because he's constantly on tour and he's always seeing people. Like I don't know if you ever heard of the YouTuber Andrew Huan.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's a good one. They talk about when they went to Deadmau5's house and stuff.
Oh,
and
really?
Yeah, Tiff is mentioned
What?
in like
What his
all of them.
apartment or like the castle?
No, the castle.
Oh,
yeah,
no
they're
way.
talking about how they had to get the Uber there, and then they're like, this Uber driver's in the woods, and then Mr. Bill's like, I don't know where to go.
Yeah,
hey."
that's so cool. He went to the castle.
Yeah,
though.
dude, like,
have
what
you
I'm-
seen the pictures of his studio?
Yeah,
What
Yeah.
the hell?
He
That's
sit-
so
he
awesome.
sits in like a circle, eh?
Yeah.
He's got
Apparently-
like all this shit around him.
Yeah,
It's
he's
so
just
sick.
like synthesizers
Yeah,
on the
it's
walls.
so
and
sick,
shit,
man.
Like everything.
Yeah, apparently he has his own internet. Like,
Yeah,
like,
I wouldn't be
like in his
surprised.
backyard.
built
like,
his own tower and shit.
Yeah, he built his own tower. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
crazy, man.
Crazy, man. That's
Yeah.
that's Deadmau5.
But yeah, if anyone wants to learn production, like Mr. Bill, like don't waste your time anywhere else. Like this guy will teach you everything.
We'll definitely copy his URL and put it into the podcast after, and so that people can actually check him out. And
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
So yeah, there you go. You ever hear one of my tracks, you just like, oh, he learned that from Mr. Bill. He didn't figure that out himself. Yeah.
Nice.
So go back as well to the Spotify thing. Let's actually see how much the monetization actually is. How much money you can make per song and stuff. Because that's where it takes its toll, unfortunately. Like you have to admit, like with production, it's so much fun to do. And when you make your own song, it's like, yes, it sounds good. And you hear it like maybe on a club system, you're like, fuck yeah, this is great. But then the problem is just the networking. It's like trying to push it out there and actually make money from it. And it's almost impossible these days, don't you guys think?
No,
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. It's like you said,
with
like
a third party. Yeah.
Yeah, see, look.
It's
tough, man.
Look at that.
Crazy.
How many streams does it say? So if you get 10,000 streams, you'll make $43.
incredible.
That's hectic.
No, it's. I feel like they're just undercutting artists at that point. You know,
Yeah.
like people that work hard on their music and they get it out there. Because at the moment,
Well, it's
I feel
because Spotify is so
Look
cheap,
at
man.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Holy
Like-
crap. 3 zeros.
Like you got to keep in mind, people are only paying $15 a month for Spotify, and they're going to distribute that money to all those artists. And there's
Yeah.
a lot
there
of
is a lot
artists,
of artists
on Spotify. So like, yeah, that's why artists are barely making any money.
Yeah.
Like because
But-
it's so cheap.
But that's exactly it. And there's so many people that upload their music up there and then they just hope for the best. And then when they actually reach that market, you know, the 10,000 streams, they'll make 43 bucks.
It's like, cool, I can buy myself a dinner.
yeah, that's it. I can take my girlfriend now.
yeah, woo, yeah. Oh god.
But unfortunately, that's the industry that we're in. And it's
Yeah.
like what we were saying before, in the 90s would have been great.
Oh, it would have been amazing, man. Like even just hearing my production now, and then like A-Bing it to like production in the 90s, I would have been famous by now.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the local Australian guy. Like,
Yeah.
fuck yeah. Everyone's playing my music.
Yeah, I would have been like a pioneer of like something.
of something.
Yeah.
Rolling squares.
Yeah,
Can you
that's
imagine
it.
making like a Skrillex growl in like 1998?
man.
Like what?
I don't think people were ready for that at that point.
No, that's it. They wouldn't have been. They'd be like, what is this? Trust me, in 10 years, you're going to love it.
I remember like the first time I like made a growl. Like a growl I was proud with. I spent all day like processing it and everything. I was showing my friends, like, yeah, it's sick. And then I went to show my friends mum, and then they're just like, oh, it just sounds like when someone blows it in your stomach, like raspberries. I was just crushed. I was like, I don't want to make a growl ever again.
There's the homie Cohen. You know Cohen? You ever
Colin?
met him from SA?
Well,
Shout out to
maybe.
Colin.
Yeah, he's pretty
sure.
sick as well. He makes a lot of like future bass and like dubstep, like trap and stuff.
Really?
So yeah,
Well, if he's keen, I'll get him on the podcast
yeah,
sometime as well.
dude, he'd love it. Eh? He's chill as. He's
Yeah.
fucking awesome to talk to.
Yeah.
He's funny as.
So then what would you guys say is your favorite genre as well?
IDM.
IDM? What's IDM?
Intellectual dance music.
Come
I know,
on, be a
it's
bit
dumb.
more specific.
No, but
I've never heard of IDM.
yeah, but it's producer porn. Like, so if you like making music, you will love IDM because
Like
the whole
walked out samples and fucking like
So,
granulizer and shit.
yeah,
like,
no,
so
it's
stuff
all
like
about,
Flying Lotus then, where he puts like 40 samples into a track or something.
no, it's not like that. It's like it's how technical you can get. It's basically a display of technical prowess.
Have you heard of
Okay.
the genre glitch?
Yeah, glitch hop and
like
stuff, yeah.
glitch is like a pretty good example of that because
Yeah,
they,
Mr. Bill is an IDM artist, like Tipper, Aphex Twin, Square
Yeah,
Foot.
Apex Twin.
IDM.
yeah,
Yeah,
Edit as well. Edit's pretty big.
Yeah, I love it. He's my favorite.
yeah, he's awesome.
So yeah, that makes sense with IDM because then it's unique to the artist. Then
Yeah,
it's like
exactly. That's why I love it.
unique.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Aphex Twin, no one's ever really tried to create. Like, have you guys seen Rubber Johnny before by Aphex Twin?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like the video clip is just so out there. And everything is so messed up.
Bro,
It's just yeah.
Oh no, not Square Pusher. I was going to say like Window Licker was the first Aphex Twin song
Yeah.
I heard. I was like, what
is this?
what am I listening to?
Yeah.
What the hell?
But then have you ever heard of X-Tal by him at all?
Nah.
So he released a couple of ambient albums as well.
Yeah, like ambient works. Yeah.
Yeah, ambient and X-Tal's on that, and honestly, it's one of my favorite songs. It is. I will play it later on, but it's just so chill. It's so mellow, but it's just like everything about it just sounds like it's just been thought out how to make
Yeah,
it kind of thing.
Oh yeah, like I think Aphex Twin was actually the dude that coined the term micro editing. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Micro editing.
Micro editing.
I've
So
never
it's
heard
like
of
when
that.
you really go into like a sample, like you can stem down your tracks and just to make sure that like your bass isn't like clashing with the kick, you could like really zoom in on your bass and just like click it out of the transient, and then you could like maybe duplicate the transient of the kick just to like get these really crazy textures and tones out of it.
Yeah. No, so that's
Yeah.
exactly that's actually really really awesome though, because that's the thing. It's like instead of just going, okay, I'm gonna make drum and bass. It's
Yeah.
like I'm gonna make something that's unique to me, and I don't know how it's gonna sound, but hopefully it sounds alright.
Yeah, I remember figuring out that like most of my heroes are actually just stoners with laptops. That was like a huge like, you know.
It's like, oh, they're just like me. So.
Yeah, they're just like me. They're just people like mucking around on Ableton.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, alright.
Yeah, but
Seems
see, like
easy.
there was an interview once with Aphex Twin. I can't remember what it was called, right? But basically, what he would do is he'd go into like salvos and stuff like that, and like good Sammys and shit.
Yeah.
And he'd just like make sounds with different things he'd find in good Sammys, and he'd actually buy it because it's so cheap. Take it home, record that, and then make a song out of that.
Yeah, like I think it was Aphex Twin that did it, where he dropped like a marble on the ground.
Yeah.
And he recorded that, and the whole track is just made from that one like dong. And it was like, how do you make a whole song out of that?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's crazy.
But that's if that's class as IDM, then
Yeah, that's-
IDM's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can say anything's IDM. Like Skrillex to me is an IDM artist.
Yeah.
Because he's
because he
an amazing-
basically defined his own genre.
Yeah,
in a way.
well, he's just a really good producer. Like
Yeah.
Noisia, like they're IDM artists. Deadmau5 IDM artists. Like
Yeah.
anyone who's mastered their craft in electronic music to me is an IDM artist.
And see, that's what I really don't like those. Where Deadmau5 cops so much flack.
Yeah,
And it's like the thing is though, like progressive house was so big back in the day when he first started popping up. But then like the way he's actually made music, like Get in the Cart Pig and stuff like that, and Strobe and stuff like that.
Strobe's a classic.
And like, have you
man.
guys ever heard
Miscommunications
as well?
No.
I've heard.
Like honestly, that's off
of.
of it's not 4x4. It's off of album title goes here.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
The one where it's like
Yep.
half the mouse head and half his cat's face.
Yep.
Yeah,
And with that, it's the most like it's upsetting, it's depressing kind of thing.
yeah,
But it's like there was a period in time when he actually got really, really depressed because he was dating a girl from Miami Ink, like a tattoo artist, one of the best tattoo artists in America, right?
Yep.
But since he was always on the road, he could never see her and stuff like that. And the lyrics are like starts off so mellow. There's no like drums or anything. It's just like a little hi-hat that kind of keeps it time and everything. And the lyrics like, "Hey babe, how's your day been? No, you first. Sorry, the delay's quite bad. I can't really hear you. Somebody's coming over. I'll call you back," kind of thing. Like it's like as if he's actually been separated from someone he wants to be with, but he can't. He
'cause
can't
he's like,
be
"Oh,
there. He's just
fuck."
phone calls basically.
I'm dead.
But it's like that's so unique because it's music still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the music doesn't have to be defined just by dubstep or drum and
Oh,
bass
no,
or this
exactly.
or that.
I'd hate to be restricted to a genre. It's
Yeah.
like that shit that happened with Getter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that was
when-
that was
see, that
upsetting
was
as
a
well.
joke. Yeah,
Yeah,
I can't
actually
believe
listened
that.
to that album recently, and I was like, "This is amazing!"
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
Visceral, sick
Yeah,
album,
Visceral,
sick
so
album.
good.
Yeah.
Nearly every single song is a banger. Like
Yeah, every song.
Like-
yeah,
when I first listened to it, that first one, Purgatory, that track, the
Yeah.
opening track, like the intro goes for ages. I was like, all right, sounding alright. I think this is a build up. I thought the track was ending, and then that like hip hop drum beat comes in.
Yeah.
I was like, this is sick.
Yeah.
This is actually so good.
yeah.
But that's exactly it. And then he goes and plays main stage.
yeah, and
at a
people are
festival.
throwing shit at him.
Yeah.
It's just
Throwing
like, bro,
bottles at him
like,
and
what the
shit.
hell,
Yeah, it's
man?
like no, you're not like it clearly says that it's what was his
It's visceral tour.
Visceral,
yeah.
visceral,
yeah,
yeah,
the
yeah.
visceral.
And it's
tour.
visceral, and it's just like underneath like brackets Getter.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
like
it
people
just
go
shows
for
that they're
Getter.
not like really true fans. You know what I mean? Like
That's
exactly.
it. Yeah.
Skrillex is at a point where he can make whatever he wants, and people like Zavric and me will just like listen to it no matter what.
Yeah.
Be like, we love you. You know what I mean?
I remember when I was like really like first into production, and I was hardcore into Skrillex, like full on like fanboy type shit, and I was like, holy crap, you know, his dubstep is next level. And then when he started branching out a bit, I was like a bit unsure. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know, because you know that's the type of shit that ropes you into being a fan, like
Exactly.
those growls, like his synthesis
Oh my
and shit.
god!
And then like
So
now that you
good.
look at what he's doing, like technically the shit he does now is better than everything he used to do.
Yeah, his mix
Like-
downs are so
Yeah, his
clean,
mix
man.
downs are insane.
It's
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah, like Dog
insane.
Blood's absolutely off its.
Dog
Oh,
Blood's
Dog
insane.
Blood's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That track
then-
from 2011, Cello Ride, Dog Blood.
Cello Ride's amazing.
Beautiful.
Shredder Die was my first Dog Blood track.
Nice.
I had.
Yeah, that's a good
For
one.
me, it's just the middle finger part 2 or whatever it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
It was a great
That
song.
classic fucking album art. It's like the dog and the astronauts.
Yeah, it's so good.
I didn't even know that was Skrillex, man. I just
Yeah.
found like Shredder Die by Dog Blood. I
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, this is
Yeah.
sick. And then Jordan was like, you know that's Skrillex, right? I was like, nah.
But see, that's
no
what I
way.
mean as well, and it's with Boys Noise. And
Yeah,
so
Boys
one of
Noise,
my
yeah.
favorite artists is actually
Yeah.
Boys Noise, because like he's a pioneer in just German techno everything. He'll
Yeah.
make old school like 90s disco, but then he'll also make like obscure techno. But then he'll make bangers like that with Skrillex
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
thing. Like he's just multi-genre.
Did you know that I think Skrillex lived with Noisia for a bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Fisher Price Toys Instruments.
Oh shit!
I actually did like a lo-fi track like that before. Cymatics, they released a like a kids toy sample pack,
yeah.
and in that they've got like little like one-shot samples and shit. And so I got like a drum rack on Ableton.
I know the sample pack. I didn't get that.
And I put like all the sounds. I went through the samples. I found one. It was like some little like kid's xylophone. One of those ones where it's like, you know, when you press the button, it's like a cow goes moo.
Yeah.
All that type of shit. Yeah, all that type of shit.
See,
So,
I can imagine it being awesome though. Like you reverse it and add a bit of
Yeah.
reverb and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and change it up.
Yeah.
And
So,
it
like-
doesn't even sound like what he used to make.
yeah,
just
even
chuck
just
music
getting
on
like
the-
one xylophone hit, and you put that into, you know, a sampler, and then you can play that on your MIDI. You can make like chords with that and stuff. So
Yeah.
just doing that was cool. And like, yeah, try to do it,
Currently making a track with Naruto samples.
dude. Same.
Pull the mic close
Same.
to your mouth.
Actually, I'm doing the same.
Yeah.
Same. I'm doing the Sasuke Chidori.
Nice.
Yeah,
You calling it Chidori?
probably.
Yeah. Cool.
Very nice.
Yeah, probably.
Sick.
All right, so talked a little bit about with Lab 6 and SA, like with learning what you've learned from it. What else could you like? Do you reckon they missed out on anything? Like you said something about like. What was it like doing the warping and like he owes you a 2-hour
Oh
lesson?
yeah,
stuff?
yeah.
Tell
So,
us about that.
Jeremy at Lab 6. So the second lesson we were there, he said he had a warping tutorial vid for us, and he didn't have it because he was like, look, I don't think it's a good vid, so I'll get a better one up for you guys ready. I'll bring it next week, and he'd say that like every week, and then we're at the last lesson. And then it was like, oh, so where's our warping tutorial? And he's like, oh shit, like, you know. And he's like, all right, look, if I don't have it up on the private Facebook group by 6 p.m, you guys get a bonus 2-hour lesson, right?
Yeah.
And but like, my friend Kane, like the drum and bass dude, like just recorded him say that, and we're like, yeah, well, 6 p.m, like the 9th of January, whenever it was. We're like, yeah, we got you on that. He's like, yeah, it'll be uploaded the day before, don't worry. And then yeah, it just wasn't uploaded, so we all remixed him saying that, sent it in. And yeah, he was just like, sick track, Ewan. I was like, oh, gee, thanks. Where's the warping tutorial?
But see, that's one thing I love about music though, is like you can legit just record someone's voice and you just like throw that into a track. Like you
Yeah.
can use anything.
Like
I mean,
you know those guys, Mashton Kutcher.
yeah,
Those guys,
yeah,
and they sampled like the Domino's delivery.
yeah.
Like that
Not even
stuff's
that,
cool.
like with Bombs Away as well. Like when they did Bombs Away did what was it? They did 2 different tracks and they remixed just like. Do you remember what they were, Mitch? Google bombs away and look up remix. I can't remember what it was, but they sampled 2 different things, and it's just like hell current things at the time. They made it work.
That's cool. Yeah,
And
that's
then
cool.
it's basically like they were turning their tracks into a meme, so then they can get popularity through it, which is kind of what you like. In
Yeah.
a way, it's what you have to do these days.
Yeah, well,
as
look at the uprise in. Yeah, I was
Yeah, see, like,
exactly
they
about
did-
to say that. The uprise in
Simpsons track
dubstep
remix.
tracks.
Yeah, see, look at that. And then they also did a Donald Trump one as well. I think they did one where it was like, get those lights off.
Have you ever heard of a YouTuber called Pogo?
Pogo?
Yeah,
No?
yeah.
So yeah, Pogo's cool.
Yeah.
Like he will like the first Pogo video.
Do all his album artworks and CD distribution and stuff like that.
Nice. Nice.
Wait, you do that for Pogo? What?
That's fucking crazy.
Go,
Who is
pull
this
up
guy?
Pogo. Let's have a look at Pogo. I've never heard of
Dude.
Pogo.
Oh, what?
Speak into the
What the
microphone as well, Mitch.
My mic doesn't work at the moment.
Oh, damn
Do you have like a social I could like follow you on or something?
Low key as fuck. Like,
Yeah, right. What the hell?
Uh,
Secretly the sickest cunt in the room.
Oh, wait, No, wait, so for Alice, you do the... what?
Yeah, what the hell?
What?
the fuck?
Yeah, because I've
Dude,
heard
I've been
that.
watching these guys' videos for like ages,
he's from
man.
Perth.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, like that's crazy.
Didn't he get signed by... Not signed by Disney, but didn't he have like a big Disney thing? He made a shit ton of money from it?
Yeah, this is Pogo.
So, but this is your work.
Yeah, play
like,
Alice,
This is
though.
this is your.
Oh, the videos aren't mine.
The videos aren't yours, but the logo and the.
No. This isn't his albums.
Oh,
He
okay.
actually prints to CDs, so I do all the mass duplication and.
So
stuff like that.
what is it you do exactly? I've seen that you've done the intro to that, and now I'm hearing that you've done this. So I'm just like
I'm a
curious.
video editor.
You're
Okay.
a video editor. Where did you study?
I studied at Central TAFE,
Okay.
which is now called Perth Metropolitan something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's right near SAE, right? And I also studied a Bachelor of Mass Communication at Curtin.
nice.
Yeah.
Low key, I love it.
I'm
Cool.
good on the video side, and I'm just sort of discovering the music
I'll be
side.
hitting
Yeah.
you up when my video clips need editing, man.
Hit me up.
Yeah, hit me up if you need like production lessons. Or
Yeah,
something.
same. Like,
Cool.
Alright.
doors always open, man.
Well, let's bring it back to this anyway. So, like with Pogo, so like, how did you stumble upon Pogo?
A friend of mine showed me actually. We were just showing each other like really cool videos because like I was like, I know the best videos. He was like, no, I know the best videos. Yeah, he showed me Pogo and I was like, yo, this is actually like really cool.
yeah.
Like,
Because I stumbled upon the Alice one. I was
yeah,
like,
the Alice one. That's
wow,
the one I
like,
stumbled upon. Yeah.
What the hell?
I was like, this is so cool. Yeah.
And just like the way they mashed up. And see, I got told a story where it's like Disney approached him or something like that and wanted to use one of his tracks or something like that and bought it off him for a lot of money.
Yeah, like 25 million or
Yeah,
something.
25 mil.
Yeah, Jesus.
Nice.
16 mil. And this is just some local guy from Perth.
This is
Yeah.
that guy.
Yeah, 842,000 subscribers
Wow.
compared to our 20. We're going all right, guys. We're getting there.
Let's get Pogo on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, you know the
That'd be
guy.
Let's get him on the podcast.
Yeah.
You already know him, man. Get him in.
I want to do that. I want to talk to Pogo.
I'll give him a discount on his next print and he can come on the podcast.
Yeah, that's it. Or you break his legs.
He doesn't need his name.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. Disney owns
We
it.
just
Creative
won't,
do
we
that
just
shit
won't
with the
mention him, you know? Like free marketing for him.
It'd be interesting to see if he would get copyrighted for that, though. Because he's using Disney material. Like, that's all Disney material.
Yeah,
You
there's.
can ask him yourself.
That's it, yeah, when we get him on. Alright, let's bring this back. So, Lab 6 and SAE, like, what else happened with that? Any goss? Any...
It was, yeah. Wouldn't call it goss, but you
Yeah.
know, it's as there is with all campuses where you go. There's like, you know, the bad group, the good group, just dudes in between, kind of mess with everyone. But
Yeah.
you just kind of like, you know, I found my circle there. Like that Cullen guy in the chat, he's one of the guys I met there as well as like, you know, you like
Yeah.
without SAE, I probably wouldn't know who you are, even
Yeah.
though we didn't meet there. Like,
Yeah, we didn't even meet
yeah,
there.
we didn't even meet
I just
there,
know
but-
that you were there.
yeah.
But
so-
see, that's exactly it, though. It's like every kind of like institution in a way. It's like you go there, there will just be different groups of people.
Yeah,
And you
exactly.
kind of just fit in with
Yeah.
different
Oh,
groups. Like,
I remember my first studio booking. I booked it out with a bunch of guys. Like this is like maybe the second week of the first trimester of The Bachelor.
yeah.
All these guys ended up dropping out, so they weren't really that committed. But like I'm trying to sit there, figure out the signal flow of this desk, and these guys are just pressing buttons. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
you
I'm
don't
like,
do that.
I'm like, please stop. Like,
Yeah.
like we can figure this out. There's a
Just
manual.
hands up, don't bang the desk either because it goes right through the microphone.
Oh shit, sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, they're like pressing buttons, and then And then like, yeah, we just couldn't get it working. And I was like, oh, fuck this, you know. And then I got the tech guy, and the tech guy's going off it. Yeah. All of us, man. He's like, do you have any idea how much this costs? And I was like, 75 grand, because someone told me before and he didn't like my comment. But I was just so angry, man. I was just like, I actually came in here to like try and figure out how this desk work, and I thought you guys would be keen, but like you guys are just being like,
yeah, no, I'm
clearly
100% for that, because that's exactly it. Sound desks cost so much.
Yeah, dude. Like,
and if you stuff up, if you just go in there and press buttons like those guys did, you can just ruin a whole preset.
Oh, dude, this one time I rolled a cigarette over the desk, and a little bit of tobacco got in one of the faders. And then so I'm like trying to figure out like why there's like a little bit of signal coming in through the master channel. I was like, there must be something wrong with the desk. So I told the tech guy. And then he's like, yeah, there's something wrong with the desk. And he sees a little piece of tobacco. And then he's like, look, since it's your first trimester, you get a warning, but like, don't roll your cigarettes over the desk. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah. And that went around campus, man.
Of course,
yeah, people were like, oh, I heard you rolled a cigarette over the, what do they call it? The audience? Yeah. Like, oh, I heard you rolled a cigarette over the audience and like fucked up one of the faders. And I was like, oh God, like,
yeah, and that's it. Yeah, word would get around. Yeah, and but it's so silly with that.
Yeah, I was going there.
It was the same at Central TAFE.
Yeah.
Because I did film and television when I was there. There's a sound desk for the studio, right? And so it's like, it's the holy grail of the room, the sound desk.
Yeah. Let's see, at the Scotto, right? Because when I used to work at the Scotto as a glassy, they actually, I tried to run a few events there, and they actually had like a Yamaha sound desk that's worth like 15K or something like that there. Yeah. And see, like, I actually asked the sound guy multiple times, like, can you teach me how to use it? No. I was like, why not?
Straight up.
Because, and if you go and use it when I'm not around, then you can stuff something up and you can cause headaches for everybody, and I'll get in trouble because I taught you how to use it.
It was like,
please.
It was like when I had someone like come to SAE, like it was the first time meeting them, and we were going to work on a track together, and I was like, yeah, come to the studio, man. We're like working in the studio, like we'll record a guitarist. And I was like, I've just got one rule, like don't touch the desk when I'm not around.
Yeah.
Like don't touch it because I'll get in trouble. And yeah, he just didn't listen to me. Like thought he was a better producer than me, and just like kept touching the desk and stuff. Like when I wasn't there, like touching buttons. I was like, dude, like you haven't been trained. Like do you even know what this signal flow is doing? You know? Yeah. Just stuff like that like infuriates me. I can sort of see like where that guy was coming from.
But that's the biggest thing about production and everything. It's like you can go and learn how to use FL Studio or Ableton, but then when you go and try and use a sound desk, you're like,
it's like all that knowledge of your software just goes out the window.
Yeah, like, basically, yeah. So there's so many different aspects that you can learn. Like there's always room for more growth, basically.
Yeah, and that's the best part about it.
Yeah.
Like, as a producer, like once you think you've got everything down, you like there's still more to uncover. Like
exactly.
Like it's the best part to me.
And so also talking about music as well, it's like with music being like ever changing and growing and stuff like that. It's like every year new music comes out. People release new tracks and stuff like that, and it's kind of like why I stopped following the most current kind of like party scene in a way. It's because like every year, every 6 months, it's just like new tracks come out, and to be able to buy them and have them. And then, like a year later, they're worth nothing in a way.
Yeah, no one cares about it.
No one cares about it.
Yeah.
But then you get classics like Flux Pavilion and Casper and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Keep that stuff. Like Lines and Wax is an amazing song.
Yeah.
But it's like, now that Dat 6 out of the game, you can't like his music's just worth nothing.
He's trying to make a comeback. He's seen all that stuff.
Is he actually trying to make a
comeback? Yeah, he posted like a big 7-minute video recently, and he's like, he didn't touch like the subject, like didn't touch like what happened. He didn't even.
Do you feel like he should?
I don't think he should. He had to step down from Firepower Records.
Explain what happened. That's it.
So we'll have to pull it up, but from memory, right? Wasn't it that he got accused of sleeping with a 16-year-old or something?
No, it was like drugging women and taking advantage of them on their tour van.
Yeah, he was like getting these stickers with his like his friends and shit, like going on the tour bus, and he would put these stickers on these chicks that had like a name tag, like you could write on it, and it would say like Tulsa. So when they look in the mirror, it says like a slut backwards. So like all the chicks that they were trying to get with, they'd put these stickers on them and shit. So like that led to what he just said, like drugging, like getting drunk so they can't do anything. Like
It's just not
Yeah.
right.
yeah, once he got accused once, all these
it's
people
pretty
started coming
fucked up.
forward.
Yeah,
and shit.
heaps of people came
Yeah,
forward.
and
Yeah.
he took everything down, disabled his Twitter, disabled like
People just
comments
stopped
on his Instagram.
Yeah, Excision
Like-
cancelled on him.
Yeah,
Like,
Excision said like
no one-
he would
no
never
one wanted
support
him.
that and shit.
Yeah.
Like
It's
even because he was on tour at the time with the Ninja Nation tour, that was like his gimmick or Ninja and
Yeah,
shit.
I
like
remember seeing that.
he
Yeah,
was doing it
Sub-Zero
with
and stuff.
he was
Yeah.
doing that with Space Jesus, and Space
Yeah.
Jesus was getting like accused for being on the same tour, so he pulled out as well. He was like,
I'm not surprised. Like,
yeah.
Space Jesus makes some good
Yeah,
music.
dude,
Have you
for
guys
sure.
heard HMU? Hit me
Yeah,
up.
yeah, dude,
It's
yeah.
such a cool
Banger.
track. Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty upsetting to see because like Datsik was big in this scene, man. Like one of the one of the guys I was listening to, like that Nukem track, all
Yeah.
that shit back in the day, like
Yeah, the
even
Nukem
his
EP and
yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that.
all that stuff. Like to me, that was like at the time when I got into dubstep, that was sick. You know, it's like even though it was just compared to now, it was just like simple wubs and shit. But like when you first get into dubstep and shit, like that's cool. Like
Yeah.
it just sounds cool. And then once you start producing, like you realize it's just more than that. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
But that's exactly it, though, and that's where the corruption happens with the music industry. Unfortunately, it's like, you know, you get to a certain level, and then this sort of shit just starts happening.
It's called social proof.
Social
Yeah,
proof.
the guy I was talking about like before in Denver. There's a thing called social proof, and it's when you have a huge following or a following of people, you get this thing called social proof, where you're sort of like an influencer, and it's what you do with that social proof that sort of like. Yeah, matters. Like what Datsik did with his social proof is like inexcusable. Like
Exactly. Yeah.
not good.
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's the thing. He's like can't really come back from it. He's just killed his career.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like I said, he uploaded that video recently. He's changed his profile photo on Facebook and stuff, and you just go through the comments, and everyone's just bashing him, like,
Yeah.
you call him a rapist and everything,
Yeah,
like,
and that's exactly it.
yeah.
And he can't recover. Like,
yeah, like he's been going out of the game about a year and a half now since all that shit went down,
Yeah.
and he just miraculously comes out of nowhere, uploads these videos and shit, and still has the same hate as when he left. So
That's it.
I don't think he's coming back anytime soon.
Yeah, what happened with Firepower Records though? Did it go under as well? Because I know he stepped down from it.
Yeah, I'm
he?
not too sure because
Yeah.
he was the
He was
They
the
dropped
top.
him, didn't
yeah,
they?
they dropped
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
He fucking stood down, and yeah, I don't know what happened to that, but Firepower was huge. That was
It
like the
was.
label to get on. Barely Alive was on there. Like Zetta's pretty good. I don't know
Yeah.
if you know Zetta.
No,
They used to
I
be a
don't know
duo,
Zetta.
but it's just one guy now. But yeah, Firepower was big, man. And like whoever's signed to that label still, if it's still around, like it's a bit of a tarnished thing, Like
It is, yeah.
yeah, just
Unfortunately,
that
it
name.
yeah.
Some people would just be like, oh, don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every
Get
time I
chills,
hear it, I'm
man.
like, oh man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, shit,
Yeah.
no, it's Firepower.
Yeah, it sucks, man. Because he was a sick musician, man. Awesome.
Are you ever worried that that's going to happen to you?
I wouldn't put myself in that position ever.
Well, I'm not saying sexual assault.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
maybe you put something on your Facebook that somebody
Oh,
picks up. From
Yeah, like a racist thing or something.
Yeah, like
from
what,
like
like what happened
2010.
with Rapture. Like,
Yeah.
Let's talk about Rapture, the
Yeah.
whole blackface
Oh
thing.
my
You guys
God,
see
yeah.
that?
Yeah.
No, what?
So on his Instagram, people went through his Instagram account and found that.
Oh,
he was,
Rapture, yeah.
He was
That's
dressed
so-
up as blackface.
Yeah.
It's like- it's just so backwards. It's so
Oh,
bad.
God.
But the thing is with that, it's like. The problem is with that nightclub, right, is that he actually owns that building, right?
Yeah,
And so, he pays land rates and all that sort of stuff. But he closed it. Where it used to be a nightclub, something similar happened. He closed it, waited like 5 years, reopens it. That's what happens.
Jesus.
So, like, he's just going to do it again.
Oh god.
He's probably going to close Rapture again
Yeah.
and then just reopen it as another brand or a different
New name or something, yeah.
Yeah, and then hopefully it works from
Yeah.
there. But it's so dumb because that girl got spiked, right?
Yeah.
A week later on Saturday, another girl got spiked.
Oh, man.
Because of the tarnished reputations, like some guy's gonna go there. Like, I like spiking girls. Is gonna go
Yeah.
there and spike the chick again. I had a friend working at Brass Monkey and saw it, and was like, she's fitting on the floor.
Man.
Saturday night,
Jesus.
a week later, 7 days later.
That's scary, man.
Yeah,
That's
it's
scary
so
as fuck,
bad. But that sort of shit happens in the industry, and like you can't. That's where it sucks because it's like the music industry. You'd like to. Everywhere I go, right, and everywhere I go and play, and this and that, it's all like, flowers and it's great, and everyone gets along with everyone, everything's good. But then when you start really looking into like nightclubs and stuff like that around the world, so many bad things can happen. I had a group of friends that go to the Scotto on Wednesdays, right, and when I DJ there and stuff, and they told me that they went to Berlin, right, and when they went to Berlin, they went to this club, and basically like some guy just like. I'm gonna stand up and show you guys. So like some guy who's bald, got like leather vest on, leather black pants on, right? He just like they're sitting on the couch. He stands up and it's just like that, and he's like, "My jacket's there. one of you guys have got to move. And they look around like, your jacket's not here, mate. And then the guy's like, well, if my jacket's not there, one of you are going to move. And when you move, I'm going to fuck you.
What?
And they're just like, what? Like,
Oh,
they
man.
just told him, like, what do we do? Like,
Berlin go hard.
yeah, but it's like
Yeah, crazy.
for that sort of shit to happen in a nightclub in Germany kind of thing. It's different social aspects, different culture, different everything.
He probably didn't even mean anything by it, you know. He's probably
No,
just like, yeah, hey.
Apparently this guy was like staunchy,
Oh,
like,
he was actually staunch.
like
yeah.
tattoos, like face tats
Big
and shit.
butt.
He's just like, you're gonna get raped.
That's
Kind of thing.
crazy.
But like nightclubs are safe in Perth in a way, right?
Yeah, in a way.
But then it's like you have just like, because you know clubs started back in the day as like gay bars kind of thing. Like the techno scene, the house scene actually started off at gay clubs in Chicago and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that's where they originally first, because that's where, you know, have you ever heard the song in the beginning there was Jack?
No.
So it's one of the very, very first house tracks to ever come out, and it got played at a gay club.
Yeah,
and it's like,
interesting.
and it's just like there's a few docos and stuff on it and stuff like that, but it's like the way the evolution of the music happened. It's like, you know, the gay guys go and do that, and then the girls get wind of it, and then the girls get on it, and then the girls get on it, and then all the straight guys are like, all the good looking girls are there, I'm gonna go there as well, and then tarnished it, and then it erupted and became house music and techno music and stuff. So yeah, it's like it's
wild,
the
man.
evolution of how things can happen. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. When you look at the way that electronic music has picked up in the last 15 years or so.
Exactly, yeah.
When I was a kid, like, because I was born in like late 90s, so like when I was a kid growing up, I was listening to like, you know, Michael Jackson, like Nirvana, all that type of shit, like Foo Fighters, all that kind of stuff. And now like kids are growing up and they're just already listening to like, you know, electronic artists, and it's crazy.
Yeah, it's the digital age. Like when I grew up with, you know, I was born in 92, so I had flip phones. I had, you know, I actually had an original Nokia brick phone.
One of those
like
huge
that.
ones.
Yeah, you can throw it at a wall. It still work and stuff like that. But kids are being born with smartphones in their hands now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And
man.
with that, they're being born into a culture where they already have Facebook and Instagram and Spotify and Snapchat and all that crap, right? And they can just at a click of their finger go, I want to listen to this, or I want to see this, or you know, they can just look up porn, just easy, and there you go, kind of thing.
And that's the thing, like being able to stand out in this day and age when you've got all this information, like on hand, you know, like
it's so hard,
how you supposed to stand out, like
that's exactly it, and it's almost impossible. Like it's unless you shine, it's just impossible, basically.
Yeah, you just gotta work hard, man. That's all you can do.
That's exactly
just
it.
keep working.
That's all you can do.
Yeah.
Like
that's exactly it. You just gotta keep pushing and pushing, because eventually you'll get to a point where you're like, yes, I'm making progress with what I'm doing, and I'm, you know, it's because like with me, like I've been doing DJing, as I said, like 10 years, but 4 years of being a professional. The last 6 years, it was just like, I'm just gonna keep doing it, keep doing house parties, working at a bar, doing this and doing that. And then eventually start getting more and more gigs. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm actually doing what I want to do. And now I'm kind of where I want to be. But it took me 10 years to get where I wanted to be.
That's the thing. Like, good things don't come easy, man.
That's it. Nothing happens overnight.
For sure.
And also nothing lasts forever as well. So that's where it's like, you got to keep hustling. And that's the biggest thing about the music industry. You have to keep hustling.
And it goes back down to like networking, like we were talking about before. Like without proper connections and stuff, like your dream can like literally go nowhere because of that.
Well, see, like I had a good friend, right? Like I actually taught my friend how to DJ. When I first moved to Perth, I lived in an apartment in Coburn, right? And I let him learn everything from my Tractor S4 and like just gave him all my music and stuff. Since I lived with the dudes, like just set up and just have a go, do whatever you want. Yeah. And so then with that, he went into Lab 6 and he ended up learning how to make jump up drum and bass and neuro drum and bass and stuff like that. And it was really, really cool stuff. But see, I was going to Capital every Saturday night, and I was going out and I was going partying every Saturday night and every weekend, socializing, networking, trying to get my foot in the door in different places and stuff like that. He just stayed at home. So then with that, he used to get gigs at Ambar and stuff like that, and like he got gigs around the place and everything, and it kind of worked out for him. But then when he started Lab 6, he just stopped going out. He focused everything on just producing and stuff. Then when he tried to get back into it, nobody knew who he was anymore. Yeah. And it's really sad.
Lost the momentum.
Yeah, exactly. And see, like I always say this about something, like I always use this term, like this, it's like a little expression I always say, right? Where it's like when people go and do the circuit. And when I say when they go and do the circuit, it's like they actually go and DJ around the city. They'll go and play Brass Monkey, they'll go play Paramount, Capital, go play Geisha, and then might go play elsewhere, Badlands Bar or whatever. But when they do the circuit, they have to have that momentum behind them.
Yep.
And then if they don't shine amongst the other DJs and they're a good DJ and stuff like that, they just fade away.
Yeah.
Because, you know, people only want to book good DJs or people that can do the job kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing worse than like when you're in an environment and you got a DJ playing music and like all of a sudden the room goes dead quiet. No one's interested. No one cares, you know?
Yeah.
If that was me on stage and that happened to me, like I'd feel embarrassed. Like,
well, see, that's where like it's kind of funny because it's like, so I can go up in front of like, I don't know, if I could, I would love to, in front of 10,000 people and DJ and not have a problem, right? But then if I get in the microphone, then it's like, oh shit, I can hear my voice. It's like the nerves kick in, the anxiety, everything.
I'd be saying the most stupid shit.
Yeah, dude, it's like when you hear your voice, you're like, oh fuck. Like I've had to do it a couple of times.
Everybody scream for no reason.
Well, it's not even that. Like Anton hasn't been at Death Disco once, right? And then, you know, I've jumped on the microphone when Andre's finishing up.
Yeah.
And so then when, you know, like, okay guys, like Amplifier's still open, everyone go next door, they're open till 6 a.m. I just sound like such a fucking idiot. Like, oh my God, I can hear myself and I sound like such a beta. But it just takes time and it takes practice.
Oh, yeah. As all things do, man.
Yeah. So, yeah. All right. This is why we should have prepped a little bit more beforehand. What else should we talk about?
What you got, man?
Yeah, we can talk about the sample.
Let's talk about sample
we
packs. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So you have a website?
Yeah, I have a website. So a friend of mine, Hamish, so it was basically killed two birds, one stone. He turned around to me one night and he was like, I want to work on a project. And I was like, do you want to make a website? And he's like, yep, let's do it. So we just like started that night, like sort of like built a template, like gave him like references of like what I wanted.
Jamie, can you pull it up?
Yeah, just Eputty. No www. So get rid of all that. All Eputty-audio.com.
That's not a bad address.
What the hell? How'd you spell Eputty?
I can't see shit from here. I'm blind, man.
Give me control back, please.
But see, that's the issue though. It's like you really do have to have momentum.
Yeah.
Like if you know you can. This is what I've said to a few mates as well. It's like if you gotta make a really good track, right, and it sells and it works, right. If you don't have other tracks to back that track, it will go nowhere, kind of.
Yeah.
Because like it's like with say for example like Dom Dollar. You know he's got San Francisco and stuff like that, but he's already got a catalog of other music he's already put out there, and it's already fitting into that kind of style and that kind of genre.
Yeah, for sure.
So when he goes and does that, it actually works out quite well.
Yep.
Because then it blew up and people can go, yeah, I like that song, but I also like this and I like this and I like that. And don't you guys feel it's kind of the same as well? Because like, have you guys uploaded any tracks on like SoundCloud and stuff like that?
Yeah, I released my first single a few months ago, and it took me ages to do it, man. Like, took
I
me
think
ages.
it's clean, by the way.
Ah, cheers. Yeah.
Eputty.
Eputty, Putty, Eputty-audio.com.
Yeah, it took me a long time to release my first track, man. Like, ages. Like, been producing for like five years or so, and like, I had finished tracks in the past, and people were like, "Oh, just release it, like, you know, just do it." I'm like, "No, it's shit." It's like, it sucks, man.
That's so good though, because that's perfection. That's where it's like you make it to your level, your expectation, what you want it to sound like. Instead of people like, "No, just put it out, just get it out there." Like, you know, it's so good when you actually like get everything the way you want it to be. It's like what we were saying before, like IDM. Yeah, it's like, you know, you actually want it to be as good as you can, so it sounds good to other people that actually can pick up on that.
Yeah, exactly. Because like, I feel like another thing as well, like I'm not at a stage where I have a big following. I can't just like make music and have people that aren't producers critique my stuff, because like a lot of the people that I show my music to are also producers. So like I'm so used to having a certain like standard with my music. So when I send someone something, it's like, it's not just like someone that doesn't listen to music can say, oh, it's alright, or it's bad, or it's good, whatever. Yeah. Like when I send something to a friend that's a producer, they pick it apart, and like,
and so that's
I focus on the parts they pick apart as well. So it's like, you know, your drums are not sounding right, or your bass is too loud here, distorted and shit. So I just take it back to the studio and just do what I can.
I do the same with my DJ mixes, because I record every single mix, every single time I play out and about. And then if I actually do something, so like when I went and played last week for 6 hours to the streets of Fremantle, right? I actually sent it to Death Disco DJs after to see what they thought, because I tried to play no swearing, barely any hip hop, anything like that. Just play stuff that, like, you know, if they're gonna take their family to the markets on Sunday at 4:00, you know, they might sing along to kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, he said it was really, really good. But get rid of stuff like, you know, Ice Cube, It Was a Good Day, and get rid of I played Colt 45 as well, just because I got egged on to do it.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, when I played it though, someone walked past like Colt 45, 6 eggs, and it's like, it's cool.
Yeah.
But you know, the critiquing part, no criticism is bad criticism.
Oh, for sure.
Unless it's really, really just like someone doesn't know what the criticism is, kind of thing. They're just idiots.
Yeah.
Like, nah, it's bad because the drums are bad. It's
Oh,
like, why are
yeah.
the drums are bad?
The amount of times I've had like someone like turn around and just be like, "Oh yeah, this is bad," and I was like, "Okay, like
Why? Though?
Yeah, why?"
Like, tell me the specific details. Is it because the bass wasn't tuned to 120 hertz?
Like,
Or
it's like, out of key,
yeah, that kind of thing. So like, pull back up the website. Let's actually go into that now, though. So Eputty.
Yeah.
How long did it take for you to make this?
So my friend and I, like, we could have finished this probably in a night, I reckon. But like, it was also getting the content for it. So if you go on the products page, there was it's just 2 sample packs at the moment. I've got one.
It's a pretty cool design though. That logo is pretty awesome.
Yeah, thanks, man. I did it all myself. Yeah.
Real.
Yeah. So you got the Eputty sample pack. Yeah. The one with Ricky.
And so you're just selling them all for free at the moment?
Yeah. Just giving them all out for free. But like. Yeah, so we were working on the website, and then for a uni assignment, we had to make a. Oh yeah, that's the description for the sample pack. Yeah,
Big wall of text.
yeah.
It's pretty cool though.
It's
It's,
literally
like almost threatening. Like, you need to download
Yeah.
this.
I mean, it's free,
The
man.
emojis are telling you
like
to download it.
every
Be
single
like, I'll
emoji.
cut you a deal.
You should have
Are you
just
not convinced
I cut
yet?
you and then emojis.
That's it. It is available for free.
Yeah.
Oh, that's that. Oh no, that wasn't a GIF. I thought it was about to say that's
No.
fucking sick if you made that a GIF.
Yeah, and then if you go up, there's actually like a little blog. So some of my uni assignments, I've only got like 2 things there, I think. But like, I got the plugin review, and like that's basically a uni assignment that I've like copy and pasted and put up on the blog. And so this is like an online portfolio that we had to make for uni. So I thought I'd kill 2 birds, 1 stone, and like sort of manage my content.
So
with
that's
that.
awesome though. And so like, you just keep updating it and keep it going and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, the idea is to just like make a bunch of sounds, put it up there. Like, me going through plugins I like, discovering new things. Like, if I want to nerd out about granular synthesis for a bit, I can. Yeah,
So
it's
that's
a
awesome.
YouTube video I did. Yeah,
That's really cool. Because see, that's the thing as well. It's like when I first started uploading my mixes, right? You know, some people even said, it's like, why are you doing that? No one's going to listen to them. It's like, oh, cheers for the criticism kind of thing. But it's still
it's a
like,
portfolio.
yeah, that's exactly, it's a
body of work.
resume.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if I want to, like, if I had to show you this, I would have just been like, yeah, this is what I do. You know?
Exactly, yeah.
Like,
and then if you show an employer that, and it's like, well, fuck yeah, you do that.
Yeah,
and you've already got that already online as your portfolio.
Yeah, there's this guy that I met on the weekend actually, who's working on a surfing video game on the PS4.
That sounds cool.
And they need an audio guy, and then he was like, "Look, I'll talk to the boss on Monday." And it's like, yeah, you can.
Dude, you make a lot of money doing that.
Yeah. He's like, look, and yeah, if the boss thinks you're good enough, like, yeah, you get money, you get a free copy of the game, like your name's in the credits. Like,
Nice.
I was just like, what the hell? Like, I'm at a party. Like, yeah. So yeah, like, I got to send that guy the email, and I'll be sending him that website too. But yeah, we like Tropical House or something.
Yeah.
Surfing video game.
Yeah.
So Michael's your dad, right?
Yeah, Michael's my dad.
He's spot on. Frankie Knuckles.
Yeah,
Frankie Knuckles is a legend.
My
back
dad
in the day.
knows so much about house, it's not even funny.
Yeah. And who are the other guys? I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's Frankie Knuckles and there's a few other dudes, and they were just Grandmaster Flash and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
Grandmaster Flash, yeah.
Yeah, like just all the classics back in the day and everything. But unfortunately, music just keeps changing and keeps evolving.
For sure.
Like, do you guys feel like, I was talking to these guys, the photographer at Jack Rabbit Slims about this, but do you guys know much about drum and bass at all in Perth and like the current scene of it?
Couldn't say I do.
Okay, well, dubstep or anything
Yeah,
like that
a little
as
bit
well?
of.
Do you reckon it's phasing out?
Yeah, sort of. I feel like there's trends, like
Yeah.
rhythm.
Could-
Once it blew up big. Like every
Yeah.
single club you go to, that's like electronic music's just rhythm.
Not
non-stop.
even that. Did
It's
you
like-
know that at Tomorrowland, Steve Aoki played rhythm,
Oh.
and people didn't like it.
Oh.
People were just like, "What is this? Like, we came here for trance.
Yeah.
What is this
That's pretty
noise?
funny,
This is
yeah.
ruining my vibe." Like, but that's when Steve Aoki plays that at Tomorrowland. That's when you know it's blown up,
Yeah,
kind
exactly.
of thing.
Exactly.
Because you got someone who throws cakes at people for a living and has a record label,
Yeah.
and just
Like
signs his
Dim Mak
name.
Records.
Yeah, because like you have to admit, Steve Aoki, I don't think he produces his own music anymore.
No.
I
I-
thought the same. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, "Fuck Steve Aoki. He probably doesn't write his own."
Yeah,
tunes.
I really think what he does, he just gets like the new up and coming artist on Dim Mak and say, "Oh, that's a really good song. Throw my name on it, and then you can blow up, and then I can get a bit of money from it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty smart when you think about it.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah, you look at his
Establish yourself.
Instagram. It's sort of just like it to me.
Cake
it looks
throwing.
like no, it just looks like brand maintaining. Like,
Yeah.
that's all it looks like. It looks like he's just maintaining a brand at this
that's
point.
exactly it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he is. I'd say Dim Mak, Fool's Gold, and I think it was not Bass Legion. It's like and Ultra as well. They're like the biggest labels in America, I reckon.
Yeah.
Oh, at least that's my perspective. You've heard of Fool's Gold, haven't you?
No. Oh, Fool's Gold. Maybe.
Yeah. Can you look up Fool's Gold on YouTube?
Steve Aoki.
It is.
Yeah. Like, look at that.
I think
man.
it's
just
Sven
photos
Varth.
of him.
I
Look at this
think.
guy, eh?
Yeah, you have to look up Fool's Gold Records because there's a really good song by the Stone Roses called Fool's Gold. Yeah, now who's it by? Yeah, A-Track and stuff. And Nick.
Oh, Run the Jewels. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
See, this is a huge label in America. If you get signed to Fool's Gold, you've made it. Unless you're going to be that guy with a bag on your head.
I want to be him.
Yeah.
That'll be me one day.
It would be pretty cool if it was.
Look at all the artists.
Yeah.
Jeez, man. Some big names there, eh?
You got A-Track.
Yeah, he's Kid Cudi as well.
Yeah.
Flostrodamus or something. Damus.
Is that Kirby?
Flostrodamus, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's Carter. Carly. Crookers. Damaged Goods.
Kid
So
Cudi.
many. Yeah. Duck Sauce. Marla. RL
Marla?
Grime. Yeah, Marla. RL Grime.
Oh,
Marlo's
was
that-
Confessions.
Tachami's on there.
I thought that
Taku.
Charmy was Confessions.
You probably find that like they're
Doesn't
part.
Charmy and Marla own Confessions?
Yeah, probably. You probably
Why
find
the
that.
fuck are they on this label?
They've probably got their own little side label.
Yeah.
Like a sub label or some shit.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's like with Skrillex. Like Skrillex has Ulster, but he also had, he went on other labels as well. Because you have to. He was on Mousetrap originally as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's
like
like.
Scary Monsters EP. That
Yeah,
first one.
Yeah.
exactly. And look, Tommy Trash.
Through Mousetrap.
Yeah.
Wow, the more you know.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah. But see, it's all about that. Like, do you guys actually know how Skrillex got big? How he became Skrillex?
Well, my interpretation of it was like, I don't know what alias he went by before Skrillex. You might know that.
Sunny Moore.
No, yeah,
No, he went by a DJ alias. Yeah, the song Shark Attack by Skrillex.
Oh,
Yeah,
he
yeah, yeah.
released that under that alias. And my interpretation of it is that he went and saw Noisia and then ended up living there. And Noisia were like, nah.
No, it was Dead Mouse. So what ended up happening was he tracked him down at Las Vegas, right?
Yeah.
And he took a thumb drive with Scary Monsters Nice Sprites on it, right?
Okay.
Didn't message the guy, didn't do anything, didn't even tell Joel that he was going to go and see him, right? And then he basically said that, the way he was dressed with I think he had his side hair cut at the time,
Yeah.
and he just managed to sneak in saying as part of security and stuff like that. And so then when Dead Mouse is actually walking off stage to go to the VIP room so he can go and bugger off and stuff, he shook his hand, said, "Hey, I'm Sonny Moore," and then had thumb drive in his hand, gave him the thumb drive. And then apparently Joel had never had anyone do that to him before,
Oh, really?
go out
Yeah.
of his way and then shake his hand like a
covert
drug deal.
ops,
Yeah,
like,
like a drug deal, and actually giving him thumb drive.
That's sick.
And then apparently it was 2 days later, he was just like, "Who is that guy? Get him in now," and he is now signed.
Yeah.
kind of thing.
It's
Wow.
crazy.
And that was the
Such a
Scary
good
Monsters EP.
Yeah.
That was the album.
For a producer that makes electronic music, Skrillex has always been top 3 for me.
Oh,
Always.
dude.
Yeah.
Seeing him
God.
last year was the highlight of
But see, the
live
only
shows
thing-
for me, man.
The only thing I don't like though is when the term Skrillex, it's you pause the music, you turn down the music. So many people do that in Perth.
Oh yeah.
And they shouldn't do it. If you're playing Capital and you pause the music, people look at you why is the music stopped?
Yeah.
We were jamming and vibing.
Yeah.
If you're Skrillex, at Groove in the Moo or, you know, Stereos back in the day,
Yeah.
people go there because it's Skrillex.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're just a local DJ and you just
don't
pause the
don't
music,
do it. Yeah, just do a solid mix.
yeah,
you know?
that's
yeah.
it. Yeah, do something really, really good. Maybe do a what's the guy's Greto Van whatever his. What's the guy that had that music video? Where he's like jamming the horse head and.
Salvatore.
Yeah, Salvador. Yeah,
Yeah.
so like he's a meme.
Yeah,
Right.
that's hilarious. That
Yeah.
video,
He's
man.
the one signing with Alzo?
Yeah.
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 He can't DJ very well.
No, he can't DJ
No.
very well, but he's
He's
got
a-
the appearance. He's got the stage.
He's got the
And that
personality.
production
Yeah.
as well, like that classic, you know, that house vibe he does.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
sick.
but the thing is with that, it's like that's how he got into the spotlight kind of thing. He probably knew someone to be able to get that gig, and then when he goes and does that gig, he gets up there and dances on stage, and does his stupid thing.
Yeah.
But people are like, fuck yeah,
Yeah, that's
that
so
guy's-
niche. I love
that's
it.
so good.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, get him back.
Same as like Steve Aoki, man, throwing
Yeah.
cakes and shit. Like people love that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing though. Have you ever seen like the videos back in the day where like there was a video of Steve Aoki jumping off a 2-story railing onto like his crowd?
Oh my god.
Like-
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but like he actually like got his big inflatable boat right,
Yeah.
threw it off, and then when he threw it off, he was like, "All right, guys, ready?" He had a wireless mic, throws the mic into the crowd, jumps into this bloody party boat,
Yeah.
like this little inflatable boat. But doing things like that, he had the party atmosphere. People know that if he goes and DJs there, you're gonna have a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah.
he's gonna get everybody involved, kind of thing, and that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
This is what I've said to Mitch as well in the past. Is like, whenever I go and play at Lucy's Love Shack and stuff like that, you know, I have to actually play the part. I have to dance. I have to be in it. I have to have as much fun as I can. I sweat my absolute dick off though. But the thing is like, have you guys ever been to Lucy's before?
No.
I've been there a few times. Yeah.
So you know how it's like, you know, the DJ's in the corner?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, if you're just standing there pushing buttons, you just stand there pushing buttons.
You just look like a
Yeah,
You
you
look like
just-
a dude pushing buttons.
Yeah,
it's
that's
not a big
it.
deal.
But
yeah.
if you're jumping up and down, you're waving your hands in the air, you play Jet Be My Girl, and you try and go like 1, 2, 3 kind of thing, and like you get into it and you provide that atmosphere, then everyone else gets into it.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
then you go and play at Capitol and you can't even really see the DJ because there's so much smoke, there's lights, there's lasers, it doesn't really matter. So you can just stand there and have fun.
Yeah.
But it depends on the situation. You have to adapt and overcome to be able to try and stand out.
Sometimes it's all in the music though. I feel.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I saw Document One, and one amazing show. Him and his MC, like they were just perfectly in sync. Obviously a rehearsed show, right?
Yeah.
But that wasn't the show that stole the night for me. It was the 3 guys that did like a back to back, like after, like straight 4 hours drum and bass. They barely moved. They were just in the zone, and it
Yeah.
was so cool to watch. Like everyone got into it. It's the craziest thing.
But see, that's exactly it. It's like offering something cool and unique. It's like 3 guys doing back to back.
Yeah.
It's like that time I went to when Nightmare and Slander
Oh yeah.
were doing the was it Good Vibrations
Yeah.
tour?
Yep.
I went to see them at Metro City, and the best part of the whole night was Valentino Khan before.
Really?
Deep down low.
Fucking just play Deep Down Low on repeat.
Yeah, I saw Barely Alive a couple of months ago.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, at
Oh.
Villa. Barely Alive was the
Yeah, and he's
Disciple
the guy that has the
takeover.
big thing on his head.
Yeah, he wears
doesn't
like the big like TV helmet on his
Yeah.
head with like the angry face on it.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's
yeah.
got like
Black Caribou was last weekend, right?
I
Death Disco.
I think so.
Black Caribou. He's the guy who wears the fucking
Oh.
mask with the.
No, that was the weekend.
That's
The week.
Black Caribou.
No, that was Jackknife, wasn't it?
No, it's Black Caribou.
Oh, okay.
He's wearing a caribou's head.
Okay. yeah, yeah.
It lights up and shit.
I wasn't there. That was at Jackrabbits.
Rip.
Yeah, I wish I
seeing
was
like
there.
Barely Alive, man, because like I listen to him a lot as well. It's like the duo Barely Alive is. So Barely Alive's like Disciple, that label, and they did the Disciple takeover at Perth at the Villa.
Yeah, yeah.
So they came with like Dodge and Fusky, the Barely Alive, and all that kind of stuff.
Was Fox Stevenson there?
No, but
Oh,
that
man.
track that Barely Alive and Fox Stevenson
Yeah.
did, that new one, Here We Go,
Yeah.
that track, like just the last track of his set, like Barely Alive, he played that track. He's like, this is brand new, hasn't even come out yet.
Oh, that's the best feeling.
Yeah,
man. They're
dude,
like, oh,
dude.
one more before I go. It's
'Cause, like,
unreleased tune.
He had
yeah.
like all cinematic music, the lights were dark and shit, and like you could just see the tip of his like big helmet sticking out from the side of the stage. And like as the music kicked in, like it was the intro to their Odyssey album, and it's like the drums come in and shit, like 80s drums, like the pads and
Yeah.
shit, and then he stands up and like his lights start moving in his hair, like in his like helmet and shit. Everyone's going off, man. Like
Yeah.
I was going off. I was like, this is
Yeah.
sick. This is crazy. Like he just has like mostly visuals and like to go with the music, and like that's what people want, man. Like,
Yeah, that's
what people
exactly-
like.
yeah.
Something they can visually see and hear. Like it's a good time.
But see, like for me, right, one of the best sets I've ever seen live, right, was when the Bloody Beetroots came to Stereo Zone and
Oh,
they
yeah.
brought the band.
Yep.
And when they brought the band, just amazing stage presence, because it's like you have a drummer just sitting in the back just fucking smacking everything,
Yeah.
and you have Bob Refo and he's like swinging the microphone around like
Yeah,
that, and then like
alright.
he'll get up on top of the DJ decks and then he'll do like a full like the Who kind of jump, like you know the Toyota advert where they
Yeah.
get the legs around, and he's just like screaming into it and all sorts of stuff, like jumping down, like putting the microphone in people's faces and stuff
That's
like
awesome.
that. And it's just such a good energy. Like everybody's into it.
That was like Opio, man, the best live show I've ever seen, because like I remember maybe half of the people that were at the court were like jamming and everyone else was just like standing around drinking. And then he does this thing after he's played his song Sneakers. He's like, because he does MIDI drums like live, he's just hitting a snare drum,
Yeah.
and it's just a snare drum for like a solid 2 minutes, and everyone just looks and they're like, what the fuck is going on? And then he like looks around, he's like looking at everyone and he's like, have I got everyone's attention now? And then everyone's like, yeah, and he's like, because we're all in this to party, and like a filthy drop happened. I was like, what? Like,
That's sick though.
yeah, and everyone started dancing. It was like the best show of the night, man.
But see, that's what you have to do though. It's like
Yeah.
you just sat there just going tick, tick,
He was
tick.
like, come on,
Everybody
guys,
look at
like,
me.
yeah.
Don't
Like,
forget, being a DJ is not just about mixing; it's about being an entertainer.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Part of it.
exactly, yeah. And so that's where Salvador Galbari or whatever the hell his name is, Ganache. Where it's like, you know, did you see how recently with the Tomorrowland one, he's playing that bloody you got the little marble or whatever, you have to like move the ball.
Oh
and
yeah,
try to
yeah,
get in the
yeah.
hole. It's like, instead of DJing, he's just sitting there, just trying to like sitting there. Just
That
doing
was like
that.
my cousin and I were talking about it. Like when I first like got into producing and stuff, he's like, "Oh, I was like, do you want to be my hype man?" He's like, "What would I do on stage with you?" I was like, "Oh, bro, like I don't know, just have a ventriloquist puppet or something like that.
that's
Like
it, yeah.
don't even like be a hype intro. You know, it could just be so bland, like Eputty. You know, like
No, that's exactly it, and that's what I mean. Like, sometimes you have to have that. Like, that's what's so good about having an MC. Because if you have an MC, like you're playing drum and bass or something like that, and you have an MC like Max Shane just going, all right, is everybody ready? Like,
Yeah.
get your fucking hands up. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Like, do it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Everybody gets involved in it.
Yeah.
But then if you're just playing music, and it's like what we said, if you're just pressing buttons, then it's just like it's a bit bland kind of thing.
Yeah.
The music can be good, the visuals can be good, but if you can see the DJ and they're not having fun, well, then you're not having fun. And this is what I said to a few friends that did the Your Shot competition. It's like, if you go up there and you have fun and you have a sick time, the audience is going to have fun and they're going to have a sick time.
Yeah, because it's like what you do up there really sets the vibe.
It reflects.
Yeah, exactly. Especially like for your experience as a DJ, and as I've mentioned before, doing DJing, like if you don't have the right mood, right vibe about you, like you said, it reflects. People just, you know, they can read. You got to read the room. They read you as well. It's like, you know, it goes hand in hand.
Yeah. And so that's exactly it. And it's like, unfortunately, sometimes I just can't be bothered. I'm so tired and just like,
I want to show you this.
What was this?
Seeing as though we were talking about Salvatore Ganache, this is his 2019 Tomorrowland set. Oops, I didn't mean to cut to that.
Is this when he starts in the crowd?
Is the TV volume up?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
We'll get it working eventually. Sound.
Look at that guy's face.
He's loving it.
Pingers.
Pingers and Red Bull.
But like, continuing what I was saying though, it's like,
Okay. You should have.
oh.
That's
Right.
definitely up.
Salvatore Ganache.
Even that intro is funny.
Dear visitors of Tomorrowland, let us celebrate the 15th anniversary of this magical music festival.
like of the whole
place
festival.
where we
or-
put our differences aside and unite in our mutual similarities. A place where only love prospers and affection thrives through the hearts and souls of the people of Tomorrowland. In the heart of sorry. In the world. Sorry, I do believe the ketamine is kicking in. Listen, to be brutally honest, I don't really like this next DJ. As a matter of fact, I hate him. I mean, last year his performance was alright, but this year it feels repetitive. If it was up to me, I would put him
People are just
and
like,
his
what the hell is
animals
going
in the
on?
awful shoe cart and send him back to wherever he came from. I mean, who the fuck drives a shoe cart anyways, man?
That
There
video,
are so many talented, hard-working disc jockeys out there, and you booked this circus performer? As we all know, every book has its chapters, and every chapter has an end. I do sincerely believe that this is the end of Salvatore Ganacci.
An intro, eh?
There he is there.
There's no one on stage
That guy probably doesn't even know who he is.
Yeah, banger, eh? And then like bongo hits and shit.
But see, I feel like he's one of those guys that he just has that level of entertainment, right? He doesn't make his music as well. He gets mates to help him make his music. Because he just popped up out of the blue. You know, like,
Yeah, I can see that.
yeah.
Usually big artists that you see like that, like have a huge marketing team behind them. You know?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Like people just don't pop out of it.
Yeah, that's exactly it, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. He probably knew a few people and was like, yep, we'll sign you up. You've got this idea of being like a clown.
Yeah.
Let's get this going. Let's get this on the road.
Didn't mean to do that.
That's so
it,
funny.
Basically.
No, that's
Walks on the stage and does his usual shit.
that's hilarious.
Yeah. But see, that's what happens. Is like, and I actually have a fear of that's how the music industry is kind of going in a way. Because it's like, you know, Tomorrowland back in the day was so good.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it was such like a cultural experience kind of thing. But now it's like, I've seen photos where it's like people are representing Australia over there, right? And they wear budgie smugglers over there.
Yeah.
It's like dudes that are turbos, basically. Like huge muscles, like, you know, all sorts of shit. And they're just wearing their glasses, pinging off their fucking tits. And they're walking around with fucking Speedos on.
Oh man.
And it's like, you shouldn't be representing Australia wearing that.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, it's silly, but it's just...
I feel like it's really cool that people can be as weird as they want at Tomorrowland.
No, you're right with that, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful thing actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still just like the whole idea of like the industry becoming so... Because, you know, like, I've also seen videos, like, there are girls that get paid to DJ over in Ibiza and stuff like that, and they just have to wear a bikini, and they can't DJ. And, like, CDJs won't even be turned on, but they still get paid stupid
What the
amount.
fuck, man? That's just disgusting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But that's money-hungry giants doing shit like that.
Yeah. That's the problem with it as well. It sells out.
Yeah.
You know, like all these consumers will pay money to see that. It's-
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it. And so, like, it's happened in the past. I'm not going to name names because it can put things in bad perspective, but there's a girl that plays out and about right around Perth, and she's been referred to by some of, like, this company, right? It's been referred to by this company as, like, the girl, like, make sure when you book her for summer, make sure, right, we
I
get...
love how carefully you're
Yeah.
dissecting this.
Yeah, it's like when you book her for summer, make sure you book the girl with the big tits and the fake lips. And it's like you shouldn't. She has a name.
Yeah.
She has a DJ name as well. You shouldn't just call her the girl with the big tits and the fake lips. It's like, you know, it's disgusting.
Yeah,
like,
that's fucked.
but then unfortunately, it's like then she goes and gets booked everywhere because she's good looking. And then it's like for guys like me, it's like I said to Mitch at a couple of podcasts ago. It's like we have to struggle and just push harder.
Us
Yeah.
ugly people.
Yeah, us ugly people. Yeah, not good looking
It's like,
guys. It's like. Yeah.
Instagram, hard platform for artists because you got to compete with, like, you know,
What do you
That's
guys want to do? Do you guys want to be DJing or just producing or both? Or
probably both eventually.
Both, yeah,
I want to get
both
out there and, like,
eventually, yeah.
you know, tour and shit, be a touring DJ. But yeah, like production's like the first
Do you
focus
guys
for
have
me.
DJ names?
Yeah, artist name.
Yeah, artist name. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah.
What are they?
Mine's Zavric.
Is that right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool though.
Yeah.
And yours?
Yeah, you know mine, Eputty. Yeah.
Yeah. But so even Eputty's not bad as well.
Yeah, there's a funny story to Eputty because my name on Facebook is Ewan Tutty Putty,
No
and then
shit.
I got my name tag for uni and it said Eputty. I was like, well, it's destiny now.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
it's
call
gonna
myself
happen.
Eputty. Yeah,
Yeah.
not really worried about my name to be honest. Yeah, if I could just go out and call myself Ewan, that'd
But
be
see,
cool.
it's awesome that you guys have actually chosen decent names. Like, there's so many people out there. It's like, you know, I guess I can start dissecting people like Nightmare. It's like you take the I out and you take the A out as well, I think it is. And it's like, why? I mean, I guess it's kind of cool. But then it's like...
I guess it was like the sort of trap thing that was happening around
Yeah.
that time. Like people like Loudpack, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
Black Sheep or something? as
Those
well?
people that replace the A with a V. Like,
Yeah, and stuff like that. Or they just take the vowels out and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And it's like, I
Yeah.
don't know why, but...
It's like
they just
you know
do
that
it.
label that Getter's a part of, Slayer.
Slow, I
Have
know.
you heard of that label?
No.
It's got like Getter and that other guy, I think AK9. Can't remember his name.
Yeah, I don't think I've
But
heard
yeah,
of
there's
him
like
either.
few big artists on there. It's pretty interesting,
Yeah.
and they spell theirs like that as well. The A's for Slay.
But it's
and
like a
all.
trend thing.
Yeah.
Should we spend this last 20 minutes dissecting your music?
Yeah, let's
Go
push
for
you
it.
guys' music
If you
and
want
stuff.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, I've already got one of you guys' SoundClouds. Oh, I did.
Yeah, well, let's push music. It's time to push your music, you guys.
Time flies, man. Time
Yeah, it
flies.
does, yeah. Well, I mean, we've actually sat in here, and I think it was a 6-hour podcast we did.
Jeez.
That was
Oh,
the very
nice,
first ones we did. We just got lost in
Yeah.
time.
The first one's a mix. It was a freestyle mix I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want to show is the question.
Oh, just any man. Like you play the first one. That's a pretty good one.
You sure?
Yeah. It's a whip. Everything on my SoundCloud's a whip. Like, cause I'm not officially releasing anything yet.
Right, that's fine. No, it gives
Yeah.
us a good idea.
But like the idea of this, it's actually a remix of a Mr. Bill track, and it starts off liquid drum and bass, and then it goes into like IDM.
So what was your thought process?
I just wanted to make something pretty. Yeah. Actually, I just started with the drums, and I was like, man, these drums are really, really nice. Like using like sounds that hit in the same frequency area as a snare, but it not being a snare. I was just like
Experiment or some shit like.
yeah, just like a
clicks and-
weird like click, and I was
Yeah.
like, that could be a snare
gotta
'cause it
turn it
sits
up.
there, you know. Yeah, the beginning's it's a bit quiet. You need to turn it up.
Nice sub.
Thanks. Yeah.
This reminds me of Flight.
Flight.
Yeah, Flight.
Oh, okay.
It makes a lot of stuff. Or like Tristan, but like not.
Yeah, Tristan Bracken.
Yeah.
The classic combo back in the day. Monster Cat. Yeah, me too, man. Do you remember
Varian
Varian?
was so good. Varian, yeah.
Yeah,
Varian's sick. He's still making music.
Yeah, man.
Have you heard of Behind the Door?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I'm so glad you
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
My favorite artist for them, that one's Fair.
Oh yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. What about Savant? You guys remember Savant? Yeah, good old Savant.
I still think pegboard nerds are just like.
Oh, Pegboard Nerd.
Yeah.
Man. Here it comes. Sick track.
Yeah.
That's second drop all the time. Yeah, it's just chill as hell, man. It's sick.
Yeah, the production is really good.
Yeah.
Nice and clean. Like
Yeah, that's
percussion's
what I was.
crisp, like
Yeah, it's just clean. Like I was trying to. Yeah, you can hear everything with clarity, and then this is where it gets IDM.
Dude, that's nice.
or like glitchy.
Yeah.
Sick. Literally every time I hear this stuff reminds me of like Edit.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
glitch mob and shit. Yeah. That whole album back in the day.
Oh,
the
dude.
Crying Over Crows for no
Yeah,
reason.
man.
Dude. Ants is a sick song.
Yeah. Oh, dude, Dex.
Yeah,
and
dude,
that?
all of those
All of
tracks.
them, man.
Yeah.
It's a solid album,
And
man.
that's like made in 2001.
2000. Oh no, it's 2004.
2004? Dude.
Yeah, way ahead of its time.
Yeah, crazy. You gotta finish this one, man, for sure.
Yeah, no, I've got to finish all of them, man. They're all.
Is there another song you want to try?
Air. I like Air. Yeah, Air's a good one.
Hey.
I remember you sending me this, eh? That fucking
I've done
race
Water.
face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done Water. It's on a Google Drive. Yeah.
Nice. You have to send me it, man. Ooh.
sound? Granular sound.
I like how you've layered like water with
Yeah.
the like the
Well, there's something I noticed Paul and Sound doing.
Yeah,
They like
that
layer
makes
audio and
sense.
stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Over their Reese's.
over their brows and shit. Like,
Yeah.
makes them just sound more like
Organic.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Cohen Sound top 3 for me. Of all
Oh,
time.
bro, they're amazing, man.
Skrillex, Cohen Sound.
Yeah, nah. Cameron Crooked. I've got like top 10. They're all
Same.
good as
My
each
top
other.
3 is always changing. Someone
Yeah.
brings out a new shit. I'm like, mind blown.
Fuck, man. You should
No, that's-
definitely check out Cameron Crooked.
Yeah.
They are.
Oh, that was a loud one, whatever that was. And do you have a SoundCloud?
Yeah, man. Just Zavric. Zavric. There you go. First one. See, I've only got 2 tracks.
I
at the
actually
moment.
like Origins. I think
Yeah,
it's a really
so
clean
the first
track.
track I put out was a remix. There's a Canadian producer called Tengraphs. He's part of Crow's Nest Audio. I'm not sure if you guys know what Crow's Nest is. It's like a death step kind of rhythm like producer label. So
real.
he hosted a remix competition. So I thought I'd jump on that. And then after that, I released this. This is my first single. It's called Origins. One of that like that Arabian type light, yeah.
Yeah. Those synths are so nice though as well.
When I like sit down and do work on cars, I was trying to get my that is the song I just said. Pitch in.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's sick.
Yeah,
That's nice. It's like how the bass resonates just like that. When it goes low, it's like, that's so good. Just like that, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, my master rack is like packed, man. It's like, yeah. OTT, compressors.
You put OTT on your
Nah, I don't have my master. Put on my bass rack.
Making snares, man, like putting OTTs on my snares. Whoa. It's so cool.
Yeah, I reckon the second drop on this is like where I really stepped it up because like I was just gonna copy paste the first drop, just do it again and have the same thing again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went that extra mile kind of.
I actually like how the filter sounds when it closes.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
just sounds so nice.
Yeah,
Man,
it's like the build up for this next drop. It's like I wanted to push the boundaries a bit because like I could have just been a bit lazy and copy paste drop 1, have this drop 2.
Yeah.
I know like back in the day that was a big thing. People would write like the first drop and it wouldn't be it'd be the same thing again. And yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is what I did for my second drop.
But I agree though, they used to do it all the time back
Yeah.
in the day.
And then that synth's different as well. It's like
Yeah.
it's going upwards. The other one was just kind of
Yeah, this is fucking sick. So I could definitely see this getting played at Capital.
good to know, man. Good
Yeah,
to know.
like, easily getting played at Capital.
Where's the free download, bro?
Yeah, that's it.
I didn't think people would want that shit.
Come on, give it me. I want to.
Put download gates on everything, man.
Yeah, that's what I do. Follow for a download. Yeah. $150. That's the thing. I was gonna do 140 because I was like, I wanted to like rhythm's like usually a bit slow, but like I made this song originally in 140 and then I put it through as 150. I was like, this is way better. I was like, I'm keeping it like that. So yeah, this is one of my first official remixes as well.
Not enough compressors.
Yeah, transients look a bit weak. I was pretty happy with this. When I picked up the remix competition, there was about a week before it ended. So for like 5 days straight, this is all I did. I just wanted to participate in the competition. I was like, I've got to get something out.
How many hours do you reckon you put
Probably
into
like
it?
30.
Shit.
So yeah, I try to like over the course of like a week, pretty much.
So that's what people don't realise though. It's a full-time job.
Yeah,
it's like what
exactly.
we said right in the beginning. It's like you got to put the time and effort into
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
It's like you just can't create art overnight.
Vocal samples in that?
Yeah, it's like hell like eerie.
Yeah.
Let the eternal darkness embrace you.
Like hell rhythm vibe. Death step, like a real heavy dubstep.
So this is in 2
Yeah, like pretty similar to that set. Always like when I'm like doing like car tests and shit. Like this is like the first song I car tested that I made. I was like, that sounds sick. One of the like a nice clean mix. Like,
See, that's what you really have to do though. You have to test on car systems and stuff.
yeah, for sure. And then like as I was saying before, like copy pasting the same drop twice. I went ahead and added some variation to this drop as well. Like the hardest thing about working with this song was, you know, obviously the time limit for one, and then it was like the original doesn't sound anything like this.
Yeah.
So I wanted to. I didn't even listen to the original. I just downloaded the stems. I was like, I'm just gonna mess around and see what I can come up
That's
with.
hilarious. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Yeah, because like I find, because I've tried to do remixes before, and I find that like if you listen to the track firsthand, you compare your track too much to it.
Exactly.
So I was like,
yeah.
I'm just gonna go in blind, and this is what I came up
Yeah,
with.
that's a really good thing though. 'Cause
Yeah.
you go ahead blind, then you go make it. Holy shit, that's what their original
Yeah.
sounds like.
Yeah, exactly.
Mine's better.
I like mine. Yeah.
Let the eternal darkness embrace you.
Well, dude, if you start DJing, I can pass you on to some people. Yeah, yeah.
Man, I'd be so fucking so keen.
Like society would get him on board, I reckon. Yeah, like Dan. Yeah,
Thing is, I
yeah,
reckon it's
yeah.
a lot cleaner than a lot of
Yeah.
producers, like in Perth. Yeah, definitely.
And the whiteout thing as well, potentially. No, the thing they did on the boat. Oh, is it?
No, they've got like the rhythm and then they've like the drum and bass section. Yeah. Drum and bass now.
D&D. Yeah, we should. Yeah.
I'd
Yeah,
love
like
to make drum and bass videos.
yeah, like fucking half kind of drums, like rhythm and shit.
I find that more like a lip sync to kind of music.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah.
For me.
Well, then dancing in the club.
Yeah.
For me, I'm
Well,
just.
I mean, I can
like-
dance to it in a club, but like after an hour of straight rhythm and dubstep, I'm like, oh, come on, play
Yeah,
something.
something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it's just like Jay.
It's like eating like a whole rich chocolate cake.
Yeah.
A few slices, but like the whole cake, and you're sick.
So
I'm
that's
getting
exactly
a bit
what.
like that with drum and bass events now, man. Because I've just been to so many, and like
Yeah, it's all just melds into one.
yeah, like I went to Sub Focus, and I mainly wanted to see Danny Bird because I've seen him before. He's an amazing DJ, and I've seen Sub Focus before, but it was like before that, it was like the same songs. I've heard them all the same. I've heard the same double drops like a million times
Noise your
already.
tentacles over and over
Yeah,
again.
over and over again. It's like okay, yeah, like
See-
hold your color. Yeah, I've heard it, man.
See, it's hilarious as well because like talking about Jay, the sound lighting guy at Capital, right? I went and saw him not last week, the week before, and they actually had like a filth night thing on. It wasn't filth, but it was just like dubstep and shit. And he just told me it's like they've been playing it since 9 o'clock and it's now 1 a.m. and he's just like, get me out of here. Like I can't deal with this.
There's
I'm not.
certain genres that are like really good for parties, but like you have to, I don't know, you have to like split it up somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have
Give some people a rest and then maybe bring it back in or something.
Yeah.
Do you have anyone like looking at the acoustics in Capital? Because the amount of times I've been in there, like that sound could improve, like
Yeah,
at Capital.
But
like,
the budget though, that's the
you
only
guys got a
thing.
low budget, yeah. Because
Yeah.
the amount of
'Cause-
times I've been at Capital, it's just like I
I'm
can't.
pretty sure Jay's
Shake it.
mentioned that before, and it's just like with what they've got, they try and do what they can, kind
Yeah.
of thing. Because it's like they have to hire their lights out, they have to do the whole shebang.
But
It's
like even the guy working at the mixer desk, like out
Yeah.
the back, could be like could be doing a better job. Like I'm just being
I'm
real.
good
Like the
mates
sound
with him,
at
but-
Capital is just like not that good, man. Like
Jay, you're still my favorite sound guy. Yeah. No, but like that's the thing is like they're doing like $1 million renovation on Capitol soon.
Jesus, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're just spending money basically.
Yeah, because
and they're
there's
putting,
like no bass traps in there or anything like
yeah,
that.
like, that's what I mean.
You've
They're
only got
putting
the stairs.
they're putting LCD monitors on all the on the walls and shit like that.
Yeah,
and
right.
everything. They're just gonna make it a whole new thing.
Yeah, cool.
But I don't know if they're gonna.
Good because the fucking carpet in there really needs to be pulled up and redone.
Yeah. But I don't know when that's happening, what's going to happen.
Because, if I was to go out like a Saturday night or something like that, Capitol would be the place to go, in my opinion, because the music is better than everywhere else.
Yeah.
Like, I can't go Paramount.
Well, it'll be
just does my
interesting
head in.
because after Death Disco leaves, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with Capitol.
Yeah, get a future garage scene happening. That'd be cool.
Well, even that, though, it's still, I don't think, in my popular opinion, I really think that when Death Disco leaves, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens to Capitol. And the reason why is they've been there for 13 years every single Saturday.
Yeah.
They were there before the current owners. They were there when the old owners used to have it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, when the current owners bought it, they were like, well, you're already doing a good job on Saturdays. Keep doing a good job.
Do you think you might, like, try and start your own thing? Like, maybe, like, even...
Well, like event or with my
Yeah, well, like,
DJs and
organize
stuff.
your own events. Like, now that, like, that, like, market and opportunity is there. Like, you can
I like
run
going
your
with
own
the
thing.
flow, to be
Just
honest.
go with the flow.
And
Just
when
be,
I-
just
like,
be that guy.
Yeah, when I say that, I mean, like, the gigs I get, I just get offered them, kind of thing. Like, I don't even ask. Like, I just, do you want to do this? Sure.
Sure, why
do you
not?
want to do
Yeah.
that? You want to do a wedding for $300? No, but I guess I haven't got anything else booked on.
Alex
I
mainly
guess.
DJ stuff I consider background music.
Oh, is that right?
I met him. I met him at the pub. Yeah.
Which is why I want to go to Lucy's, because I
Yeah.
feel like that's like an opportunity.
To see me actually doing it properly.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, that 2-hour mix I sent you about the silent disco. FYI, everybody, I played at Jack Rabbit's last week and I put 72 songs into 2-hour set, and it said 5.5 hours. I kind of got sidetracked towards the end of it, which kind of sucks because of people talking to me and requesting ABBA and stuff like that. But the thing is that
I have a story about fucking ABBA.
I'll do you now.
Fucking 21st birthday. Never fucking do them. You get 45-year-old ladies come home. You've killed the dance floor. It's like the dance floor is full.
Yeah.
I'm playing modern music. Just because you want ABBA doesn't mean nobody likes it.
But then with that, it's like, did a silent disco, and I just tried to. The first hour of that mix, every minute I was changing songs. Every 40 seconds I was swapping songs. Because being a silent disco, you have to do that. Like, it sucks, but it's like when people come in, they put headphones on, and then like, oh, I don't like the song, so they'll leave. But then it's like,
Change channel.
yeah, well, there was only one channel there.
What's the point of the song?
I know. But I just said to him, it's like, let me just play what I want to play. I'll read the crowd
I
and
think
play.
silent discos should just die. We should no longer do them.
It was like
Well, I kind of
The
said
headphones you get is shit. It's fucking spotty as fuck.
it's
I can
so-
imagine you
Yeah,
just like
suck,
kind of
don't
walking
care.
around like feeling like an idiot. You know what I
It's
mean?
always empty. Nobody likes it.
Just quickly, right? So this is a big no-no, but it's so funny, right? So and the management there,
We're talking
Right.
about with Jack Rabbits.
all right, with the silent disco,
Yeah.
they say it's all right to double red line your DJM.
Well,
Why they got the headphones
probably got
on?
fucking distortion from the headphones.
That's
anyway.
it, yeah. But like, you can tell the difference because like the guy that played before me that night, right? He was just like at the gain all the way up, just trying to get as loud as possible,
Dude,
right?
oh my
And then I put
God.
the headphones on, like I just leant over and was like,
Ow.
No.
Yeah.
"Mad, what are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, the guy said it's all right." No,
No, you clearly don't know
Don't
what
do
you're
that.
doing. Yeah, what the fuck? No.
Were you back to backing?
No, I wasn't back to backing. I was just waiting for him to finish the set. But it's just like your shot DJs and beginners and stuff like that, and then getting the hang of it and like trying to figure it out.
Booking these fucking shit DJs. Not booking.
Because $50 for 2 hours.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
I get
but
$100 an hour to edit videos.
people do that though, and it's not too bad because it gets people through the doors though as well, and it's still a level of extortion.
Hustle.
Yeah, it's a hustle. Yeah.
Have you guys DJ'd yet?
Yeah, I've done corporate DJing. Like
Yeah, I've
back
just
in the
done
past.
house
Yeah, I remember you
parties,
saying
You
yeah.
haven't
Yeah.
played at any bars or nightclubs or?
No.
I'm mostly focused on the production of my studies at the moment. Like, I'm not looking at performing any shows or anything like that or releasing anything until I'm
I
at.
definitely want to though. The things that I've got on my SoundCloud, I want to play some like rhythm sets and shit like that. Like,
Have you tested your songs like back to back with other songs? Yeah, because I feel like that's the best way to see if your track can actually like pump up on a dance floor.
When you say back to back, do you mean like chopping it kind of thing?
No, just like seeing, you know, like you play one track that you think sounds good on the dance floor, and then you play your track and you see how it compares, like A/B it, like
like see if the energy's the same. Shit,
if the energy's the same, and like, you know.
No, but 100%. That's something definitely you should definitely test it
back to back with another.
You can see like that's one thing I've learned about trying to mix in key as well. It's like if you go and play a song that's in A minor and you go play another song in A minor, you can technically just overlap them.
Yeah.
As long as there's certain specific parts of the song, you can just overlap them, and you won't even really notice that they're there.
Yeah, harmonic mixing. Yeah.
But that's like a big key. That's the big thing about music in general. And then it's so shit because sometimes you get artists that come in, right, and they come and play and like they do that. For example, like once in the past, a guy, not naming names, has gone up with a thumb drive and gone and give it to Andre, right, and being like, "Oh, play my new track."
I think I remember you saying this.
Yeah,
in the last
Andre's
podcast,
just like. What key is it in? And he's like, I don't know. And it's like, how the fuck can you make a song not know what key it's in? Like,
that's the type of shit that when you're like first in production, like you don't even know what key scales or theory is. Like,
makes me think like the guy doesn't know what's like key he's tracking is like track even record box properly.
Yeah.
Like if it was to give the USB to who was it, Andre?
Yeah.
If it was to give the USB to Andre, he'd just plug it in and be like, no waveform, nothing, just a fucking MP3 track. You know how fucking hard it is to mix unrecord box tracks on a CDJ. It's fucked.
But not even that. No, he put it on Tractor though, and so he had to analyze it. He found out what key it was.
Oh right.
What key was it in?
But I have no idea.
Yeah, okay.
But that's what I mean though, which is just silly. It's like if you make a song, you
should know what key it's in.
You should know what BPM it is as well. Like,
yeah.
Like,
definitely. Yeah.
Imagine if you
actually
makes a song, like,
there's sometimes I've like looked back at a track and people were like, "What BPM is that?" I'm like, I have no idea. Like,
but I can imagine if you make so many tracks though, or you've made so many demos and stuff, you forget.
Yeah, you just forget. You just.
But
like,
if you've only ever made 3 songs, you don't know. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, when you have like an official release or something like that, you know the key and your BPM.
But see, that's where it's kind of shit as well, because it's like you guys are actual producers, right? There are so many people out there that just like they get their friends to produce the track, and they just sit there on the couch, just like maybe you should turn the bass a bit down.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that's not producing.
Yeah.
That's having like a little bit of input.
Actually, like our mutual friend Jordan, that's like sort of how like I kind of grew that mindset. Like when he was sitting on Ableton, he would be producing. I'd be like, oh, maybe introduce the sound like that. Like what he told me was like, that's a producer mindset. You're a producer, you just don't have the skills for it yet.
Yeah, but you should.
He used to say that to me all the time.
Yeah, and now I'm producing.
Yeah, now
but it shouldn't be like an official release though with your name.
Oh no, it shouldn't have your name or anything on it. You know, like you're just a dude in the studio, like
sitting on the couch.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. This guy is like, he gets his name on the fucking record. Yeah, and he's just sitting there like, just do that, That sounds cool. Yeah,
sometimes I'll do things with like friends, and I'll be like, it's our track, you know, like just to make them feel good. But like, I mean, in a way, like I guess it would be our track because like, you know, you're collaborating, you're working on ideas together.
Yeah. But we've got 3 minutes left. Should we plug your SoundClouds and stuff like that? And, well, I mean, we've already played the music, but like any other material you guys want to try and push out to
off you go.
Yeah.
Where can people find you?
You can find me.
What can they be looking out for?
For like on the topic of where you can find me, I'd run an Instagram page as well. I've got 2. I've got one for my music. My music one's The Real Zavric. That's the username.
Put all the links in the description.
Yeah, cheers, man. And then I'm also a photographer as well. Been a nature photographer for about 3-4 years. So for my photography content as well,
he's got good photos.
Yeah, he's vouching for me.
Do you do weddings or anything like that?
I've wanted to. I've wanted to branch out into that stuff.
I do weddings as well, and I actually work for the top 5. His name's Perth Elite DJs. His name's Scott, right? But he works for his company is the top 5. In the top 5 for weddings in Perth, and that's voted by users as well. So
sick.
Actual brides and grooms and stuff like that. Yeah. So I can put your name forward as well.
Sick,
if you send me like a little portfolio or something, I can see how it can go.
Because for my photography shit on Instagram, it's just it's like my name, Ricky Zavric De Silva. It's just like I'll give you the details, chuck it in the description. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. I don't really use Twitter. It's the same handle, handle as Instagram.
Yeah, basically,
You know, dude, Twitter's so good, man.
I only use it to keep
everyone's
up with,
on Twitter, bro.
It is, but I reckon it's more of an American thing in a way.
Every artist I love And they're just all on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like, I asked some questions. Like I got in a debate with some dude from Noisia, like Thice from Noisia. Like literally with Mr. Bill in there too. Like we're all bouncing off of each other. I got schooled, but like I still had an input. I learned something. You know.
I got schooled by this guy.
Yeah, like I've spoken to the dude from Noisia. Yeah. Yeah, oh, dude, he schooled Mr. Bill and I like totally double whammied us. I had a friend, like my friend Cosmo, he's a forte pianist at Whopper. He's one of the only 2 people in Australia that's allowed to touch these forte pianos that we have in Western Australia.
Really?
Yeah, he tunes pianos for a living. Like I wish I had ears like his. You know what I mean?
Shit.
I had him next to me, try to help me argue with this guy from Noisia, and he was still schooling us. I was like, dude, no. Yeah,
but anyway, professional. Yep.
Eputty.com. I'm on Insta. Like, I'm just down to.
Do you guys have anything coming up soon? New tracks?
Yeah, been working on a few things. Like I want to on my SoundCloud want to like push out a lo-fi series. Bit of lo-fi hip hop.
Cool.
Yeah, been doing a lot of lo-fi lately.
Yeah, when you finish that, send that my way because I love lo-fi. Dude, I fall asleep to it.
Yeah, I've been producing it for like last 6 months. It's been a big focus for me. It's kind of stopped making dubstep.
We should make a drum and bass tune.
Yeah, but me and him going to collab soon. So just those kind of things. Like, that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah. What about you, Ewan? Anything else?
Just I'm making IDM constantly, and mostly uni work. But like you'll see like videos and like songs that, like from my uni and stuff like that. But at the moment, I'm working on a lo-fi IDM like sort of blend at the moment. So that's something I'm doing.
Nice. Yeah, very nice. All right, guys. So we've got 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1. All right. Time to sign off. We've hit the 2-hour peak. Don't laugh at me. Come on. All right. This is episode 8, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in with everyone commenting and talking about a little bit about Frankie Knuckles and everything. Thank you, Ricky. Thank you, Ewan. Thank you, Mitch, for hanging out and doing your thing. This is episode 8 of the Infrared Podcast. We will see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in.